This is Troy G. Ward, and you're listening to Missin Curfew.
What's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fellas, coming to you from Hall Pass Media in Newport Beach, this is Missin Curfew. And before the boys start snapping around, let's not forget this show is always presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Obes, our boy Swissy Swish from the guts of Philadelphia, as he would say. And come playoff time, we needed to bring in somebody that could actually put the puck in the net for the squad. So we got our boy Joffrey Lupul in studio. Fella, good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Keeping it warm for you, Uppy, whenever you get back.
Yeah. Typical Upshaw, you'll love this. He's I guess he's making his own studio in his garage for some other stuff. And the other day I saw him taking chairs out of the studio. He's like, I got to take this chair to the studio. I'm like, whoa, Getzlaf gave us that chair. He's like, yeah, we don't need it. We never have four guys in here. I'm like, well, we could. And he just drags it out. I'm like, did that just happen?
Yeah, can't you just run over to like Crate and Barrel or a Home Goods up, dog? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Fella.
He's like,
Take it off his check.
yeah, he's like, we didn't pay for it. I'm like, I don't think that's the point, but the painting was a gift, Todd.
Yeah, I'm taking it with me.
Swishy, you've been dying to have Loops on as a guest, right? You've been wanting to interview him for a while, but now we got him as a little co-host here. But we will definitely do it again where we can sit down for like a good hour with Loops and kind of snap it around.
Yeah, get in the same room, just talk shop. But no, it's sick that he's joining the program today. I've always thought, like, even when I was just a fan of the show, when I was fucking playing in Helsinki, Finland, and it was dark at 2 p.m. I thought your guys' best shows when the Loop Dog would come on. So it's good to be here, boys.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. He's like, Loops is funny. I'm
nervous.
I'm like, Loops is one of the wittiest guys I know, bro. And much like yourself, Swishy, Loops is good with the fingers and writing, and like he's quick on the trigger on that. So I think remember when Updog hit that guy from Hungary or whatever and fucking bundied the poor kid? And Loops made a comment in the Missin Curfew. He's like, it's just a game, fucker. And Swish hit me up. He's like, fucking Lupul, hear that? He's like,
just destroying guys at the World Championship, huh?
It's just a game, fucker.
The one text too, it was so funny in the Aspen group chat where it was like Barnaby was at the bar and like no one had heard from him in like 3 days, and he was still
like
in
3
Aspen
days after the charity game.
Yeah, and Loops hits the group chat. He goes, not only is Barnaby still here in town, he is absolutely thriving.
It's like, good news, boys. I see Barnes. Not only is he alive, he's thriving here in Aspen. I'll tell you what.
Oh, that was so good.
I gave Rookie of the Year. It's hard to call Brian McCabe a rookie because I looked up to him. I gave him my Rookie of the Year, but you could put Matthew Barnaby in for Rookie of the Year. I mean, he went out every fucking night till about, early AMs.
Oh, yeah, you might still be there. Oh,
I don't think he can afford to limp the whole time there, can he?
Things start adding up there pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm like, the altitude bug you, Barnes? He's like, not really, man. He's like, I'm doing pretty good. I'm like, fuck, usually first timers that come in there, like even Loops, man, back in the day before Loops was a permanent resident in Aspen, we would go in quite frequently, and altitude sickness is a real thing, man. Like it gets me. Like, if you come in hot and booze, Swishy night one, which we used to always do, like I'd stay up with Matt Gill and Loops till fucking 6 a.m. That's like you're supposed to do the opposite. You're supposed to go to bed and drink water, not stay up till 6 and drink whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first year that I got the invite, we had the party on the top of the mountain, and that really stung me. Remember we were up there, Oaks, and looked at that one rock?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. And before Cuba Gooding Jr. started sucking on some toes, yeah, that was an absolute shift up there. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I was feeling it for sure.
I don't have much say in the board meeting for that tournament, but I'm like, I would like to recommend not the first night taking everyone up to 11,000 feet or whatever it is up there. Like, it's just not perfect for anyone.
Yeah. No, it's not. That'll sting you, fella.
The one thing you can do up there is catch a buzz quick, though. It takes about 3 cocktails at that altitude.
Very
You're
quick,
like,
yeah.
You're like, anyways, Loops, thanks for doing this, buddy. Richardson and Upshaw are battling the bear trap right now. Richardson's tied for 10th heading into the last round. The Updog is lingering around top 30, 25 or something like that. I always go to the bottom of the leaderboard, Loops, to see what some basketball guy, the big boy there, James Johnson, Swishy, I think you know that guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was like a tough guy in the NBA.
Yeah.
He was like actually legit tough. Yeah, he would like do like was a boxer, UFC fighter kind of type of gue.
Yeah. Well, the bear
is he struck? Is he struck?
well, the bear trap fought back against this guy. He shot 100. He shot 98 the first round and 101 and 103. I'm like, oh.
So we could go play.
Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah. I think so. But is that fun, Loops? Is that fun to go to a tournament and shoot 103? Like,
I don't know. You'd hate to get paired with him, huh?
yeah. I mean, it's just like because there's so many good golfers there. I'm just like, this guy just went out there and put up a couple triple digits at the bear trap.
So up is hanging tough.
Up dog shot 83, 81.
83, 81. Okay.
Yeah. Brad Richards is in the mix. Obviously Pavelski's right there, but the leaderboards are all the same. It's that one basketball player, Clippard or Hubbard, Aaron Hicks. Remember the old center fielder for the Yanks? He won the last
said he
one.
Smashes the ball, and that's coming from Uppy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's got to kill Uppy to say. He's like,
I know.
fuck, he hits it farther than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some really good players out there, but I just thought that was funny. I'm like, 103, keep your head up. So, boys, Richie, go get him, buddy, low and slow. Swishy, you were boots on the ground. I had a couple people actually in the Missin Curfew X, a couple Lupul tarps there. They sent them to me. I said, legends never die. But what was that experience like, man? On TV, you could see it was going off, but then Flowers would send me a video, and it was like the TV wasn't even doing it justice.
No, it was sick, man. I mean, to see that building rocking again was incredible. I mean, I wouldn't say it was like Edmonton in the Stanley Cup final when we were just pinned over there. We were celebrating an overtime win, just licked. But the crowd was incredible. They had the Skinner chants going, the "fuck you Sid" chants going. Like they were into it. And the whole thing changed to when Brian Rust put Travis Konecny's chin into the ice, and then you could feel that. And he did you see him shake his mitts at Rust?
He dropped.
And there was about 2 seconds there where I think Johnny Murray, the linesman number 95, would have let them go, and then he kind of just pushed them aside. So he kind of looked a little bit chicken there, and then obviously the Zegras goal, him celebrating to the penalty box. I mean, that's when the game was like, all right, this game's over, because you could feel it just building, like the way that they were instilling themselves physically throughout the first period and then the second period, and then it was all she wrote. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Those people were so drunk too. Like I was sitting, like we had pretty good seats, and these kids like took their shirts off like in the middle of the game after like the I think it was up to the second goal, like a row of guys just tarps off right away, like they were just ready to go and just get drunk.
Were they built like a lot of people in Philly are built like me? Should they kept their tarps on or?
Oh yeah, I mean they were just they're not even 2% milk. That's just whole milk, which is a bunch of bad tattoos too all over their body. Just classic Philadelphians. So yeah, it was cool, man. It was a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right on the shoulder. Yeah.
I mean, for me, that whole scrum, I've never seen so many guys loops get taken. Like they took every guy in the scrum to the box. I've never seen that. And how Russ got the extra. Like, I mean, I guess he was giving it to Konecny pretty good on the ice, but like started with a little elbow. I thought the refs handled that poorly with, first of all, how long it took getting all 5 guys in the box. Like you don't have to give everyone.
That's great.
Yeah, you don't have to give everyone a penalty. And then I thought it was kind of chintzy that Philly came out. And I got Philly. I thought it was still a little chintzy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, first of all, I'll say, how much better is the playoffs with Philly back in?
Oh, it's the best.
Buffalo, throw them in there too.
Yeah.
It's so much. Having these teams back in there is great. I'm taking a lot of heat. I am obviously an ex-Flyer. I took Pitt. People are fucking just burying me on Instagram. But just what an atmosphere. The whole talking about the refs, I don't know what happened to Sid there. The kid he's stretching his wrist and fucking whacks him one in the face, and they give Crosby a dive. I was like, it's tough giving Sid the dive there.
Yeah.
I was worried. I had Philly in the game yesterday too. I was worried when he did that. I'm like, do you think Sidney Crosby needs anything extra? Like, you're kind of shutting him down all series. You want to come do like something goofy like that? I was like, you're fucking waking up.
Yeah.
Could be waking a sleeping giant. I think he's maybe a little bit injured right now. He doesn't quite look like himself, but I was a little concerned after that play. I'm like, is that just going to get, that going to be the play that just gets Pitt going? And it wasn't.
Yeah. No, and I'll tell you what, Swishy actually said it, Loops, in game 1, right out the get-go. He's like, Crosby doesn't look healthy. And I'm like, then I was thinking back, like I hurt my MCL in Denver, my first year in Denver, and I don't know what it was, a grade 2 maybe. It wasn't as bad as Sid's, but it probably bugged me for a year. Like after that, and I'm
brutal to play through.
yeah, I'm no Sidney Crosby where the offense is going through me. But you're right, when he's sleeping, leave him alone. But I did notice yesterday, boys, when that scrum took forever and Sid came out and did a couple laps. It was shaking his leg.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I know that feeling from getting benched, but like he just doesn't seem right. You know what I mean, Loops? He just doesn't seem like he's got that same jump to his game.
No, there was probably a time when you do something like that to Crosby. I mean, he's going to just dominate the rest of the game. He's obviously not at 100%, but still, that's like these all-time great players. When you do shit like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
You've seen The Last Dance.
Yeah.
You don't fucking wake those guys up.
I love The Last Dance.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You don't, what was it, BJ Armstrong when he was pumpernickel? And he's like, MJ's like, oh, it's easy to celebrate when you're up. Let's see what happens when we start even Steven here. So, but I'm with Loops. To have Philly back in the playoffs, it's so awesome. It just, Princey posted that clip of you going in there and just going short side titty past Flower. What a tan you had, by the way. I think he must have that probably was a Cabo all-star break that he just kept rolling right into playoffs.
Pre-playoff spray
tan. Maybe pre-playoff spray tan, but let's just go back for a little bit. Like how much fun it was. You guys had great teams, tough, and must have been a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, people always talk about the fans, they're being like tough or whatever, but all they want from you there is just to fucking dig in and play hard. Yeah. Obviously, they want to win the Stanley Cup, whatever. But that's if you're a team, which they have now, and we had then, that kind of just competes hard. The fans just love it. They just want to see hard-nosed hockey and guys putting in an effort. And right now, their team, a lot of credit to Danny Briere.
Yeah.
That is a team that you can just see all these guys are playing for each other. Maybe they're missing a little bit of the top-end skill that some of the other teams have, but the team, you can just see that team is gelled and they're fast and playing hard. And I don't know if this is their year, but that year might be coming sooner than expected.
They're definitely ahead of schedule. You said Johnny Murray. That guy's still in the league. I tried to fight him one night. I tried to fight him one night at the rack. He was being a tough guy when I was playing in Tampa. In between,
is this an
linesman? He's like in these scrums, and then he chirped me in this run scrum. I'm like, fucking this guy. And then if I'm just like half cocked at this place, it was the rack Swishy. You get sushi and play pool. It was unbelievable. Me and Bugsy used to go there all the time. And I'm just half cut, and in walks Johnny Murray. And I'm like, fuck this guy. And I get right in his face. I'm like, hey, and then fucking, who was it? Nigel, the video guy's holding me back, and fucking Bugsy's holding me back. I'm like, you can't be trying to fight linesmen's Obes. I'm like, fuck him, eh? Like, just a donkey move. So he's still in the league, Swishy.
Number 95, Johnny Murray. That's hilarious. Trying to fight a linesman, that's all time. You should have just quick started him.
Oh, he fucking, the look in his eyes too was like, I should have went to a different establishment because I came right for him. As soon as I saw him, right for him. Loops has seen that shenanigans too many times at bars. He's like, fucking Obi, you donkey. One last thing about Philly there in the atmosphere, Loops and Swishy Swish. Fucking God bless America. Is that not a nice touch? Like that is like, I forgot about that.
That was my favorite thing, like playing there at playoffs. They would do it the odd time in the regular season for like a huge game or something. The playoffs, it was just great, and the place is just rocking. They put on the big screen, I don't know if they did it yesterday, but they'll cut in some old footage of I forget what her name. I think it's the lady's mom
or something
that used to sing it like back in the 70s, and you just get charged up. It was like it was great.
Like, I'll put that up there, Swishy, with like, I still think the United Center anthem when they're clapping is better. But last night when she started belting God Bless America, I'm like, fuck, I could go out there and take a minor penalty right now. I'm charged up. I'll fucking cross-check I'll cross-check someone early in the game here.
Yeah, who's got the smelling salts here, boys? I'm a little greased up right now. Loops, I wanted to ask you, when you were playing there, Ed Snyder was obviously still alive, right? Like, he had to be one of the best owners in the league as far as yeah, for sure, right? Like,
he was
still on that guy a little bit.
Yeah, he was just an awesome guy, and it was just a first-class organization. But he would come in after the game, and he would just be charged up, and he's coming around and fist bumping guys, and he just kind of had this aura to him too, where you're like, I don't know, you just automatically like him. Like his first time I met him, I'm like, this guy's great. I don't know why.
Everyone says that.
Something about him where this guy is just awesome, and he's the same way. Like I touched on the fans. He kind of embodied that. All he wanted was hard-nosed hockey and guys that played hard, and that was it. If you did that, he loved you, and he came in, and like I said, after the games, he'd be just all charged up, and it was like a guy that you're like, fuck, I don't want to let this guy down.
For sure.
I don't know what the reason is, but there's something about him that he's just different than the other owners.
And he cares, right? Like, and you can see that right now with our boy Smitty, Ryan Smith in Utah. Like, he's there for the first game in Vegas. He's giving away tickets. He's letting people sit in his suite. He's like, you can trade in a Vegas jersey for a Utah jersey for free. It's like, you can see this guy cares. And everyone that played for Philly, and even fans, like Flowers always used to say that. Like, ever since Ed Schneider was gone, the team's not the same. So it's just because he cared. He had boots on the ground, and he was there and shaking the boys' hands after big wins. And you're like, I can't let this guy down. Plus, he signs my checks.
Yeah. There's something different about having a guy like that owns a team rather than like a corporation or some guy that you've never will meet once in your entire time there.
Exactly. So Philly, keep it going. Second round, Flowers is all over us for a fella tour. We might have to make that happen. Last but not least, our little intro, Swishy, me and Loops the other night. Thanks to our buddy PJ. Boris Court hooked us up with some fucking real National League seats. Jays Angels, we found a way to get it done. Hoffman, once again, tried to blow up for us, Loops, but we were lucky enough, PJ, after the game, we waited for in the Luxury Auto Sprinter van for Max Scherzer. So we got to have a couple ice cold Labatt Blues with him. Kind of as expected. Loops, just an old school guy. Like, I'm like, hey, have you changed your routine really? Like after the game and recovery and stuff like that? He's like, no, not really. I'm like, so you're just old school, but he's like, yeah, I don't really, just get out there. He's like, he did say, Loops, though, his pregame routine takes a little longer to get the engine going, he did say.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching his pregame routine last year before the playoffs, and he's a fucking psycho, just like as advertised. He's there chewing his gum, hammering his glove, and like, I mean, they don't make him like that anymore. He was a beauty. He's a beauty.
And we were at the game last year, Swishy, at the LCS in game 3, where he told Schneider to get the fuck back in the dugout. So we're like, oh, we love that you gave it to him. And then Loops is like, and then I saw, he's like, yeah, that in the dugout is where I really gave it to him. He's like, on the mound, I told him just get out of here. But then in the dugout, he's like, I really fucking gave it to him. I'm like, that's when you know you're a veteran, So she just pulled the manager.
I took him down the hallway and just really let him have it.
Just let him have it.
Yeah, he's an old school ball player. I wanted to ask you guys, when you're sitting in that Sprinter van, is he licking his fingers for every sip of his beer like he does with the Nugget? And 2, did you have the hip playing a little bit, fella?
Oh, we had the hockey game on, so no hip.
Okay.
He had one ice cold Labatt Blue that we had to make sure. I'm like, G-Money, make sure those beers are cold for Scherzer when he comes on here. But much like you, he's not a huge beer guy. He wanted a vodka soda, so we stopped at a local establishment for a couple of those. But he's a vodka soda guy. Keeping it
light. Stay light, eh, Schurz? Yeah, stay light, Schurz, eh? Yeah, I like that.
And the one thing he did say, we were talking hockey with him, he's a good St. Louis boy, born in St. Louis, and obviously won a World Series in Washington, and he loves Ovi.
Loves Ovi.
Loves Ovi. Like,
what game did he say he went to?
Fuck, I think
something. And he went and took some of the guys, and they were all stoked to meet Ovi after the.
Well, he brought the cup right into right to Washington National Stadium, I think is what he said, right after they won it.
Yeah,
he's like, he brought the cup right in the clubhouse and let the boys. And he asked us, Swishy, me and Loops, he's like, what's the word? What was the way he worded it? Who's not had a better career, but who was more impactful for hockey, Ovi or Crosby, or like something like that? And I was like, it's Crosby probably, but I mean, Ovi was such a beast. Like it's closer than people think, right, Swish?
Yeah, I think especially kids my age too. Like, that was like in the peak of, when those guys came to the league, I was probably 10 to 12 years old. And obviously Sid was Sid, like the Canadian player, but like Ovi had just such a different flash to him. Like, he was wearing yellow laces in the National Hockey League when we were wearing yellow laces at U10 AAA tournaments with the yellow laces and the skates, those old CCMs that look like they had the shine on them, like they're like chrome, just like it's a totally different look of what like traditional NHL players wore at that time. So I don't know, man. The answer probably is Crosby, but Ovi's right there.
Yeah. And me and Loops were saying, like, Ovi was the first guy in my career when I got traded from Anaheim to Tampa in the old Southeast Division. My first game against Ovi, I'm like, first of all, I have no business being out here, and fucking slow down, bud. 10 shots, 10 hits, 2 goals. It's like, dude.
Yeah, what's crazy about him, too, is it's like it's almost like he's completely reinvented himself as his career went on. At first, it was like this guy that would just completely overwhelm me with the physical play and just like every shift going. And now, obviously, the skating is not even close to what it used to be.
He doesn't get on the forecheck quite like he used to.
I don't know. He still scored 30 goals.
32 goals.
Right? And he got how many? 50 the year before?
Yeah.
And now he's just like this, kind of just lurking around and finding those spots. And obviously he's the best goal scorer of all time. But the way he's done that, like Sid's still kind of the same player.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as dynamic, but Ovi's had to just like figure out a complete different way to get it done. And he's still getting it done.
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets it done for one more year. I'd like to see.
And you're right. I mean, he's like, he gets some net front goals now, tips them in and finds some greasy ones. Like he's found a way to do it. You talk about Ovi's style with the yellow laces, Swishy. I don't know if Loops remembers this, but during the probably the start or near the middle of our career, they didn't want you to roll up your sleeves. Like the NHL was being real sticklers, and the picture they would show at the start of the year was Ovi's gear. They're like, this is the problem right here. We don't want guys looking like this. I'm like, he's fucking one of the best players in the world. Yeah. If he wants to wear yellow laces and a tinted visor, fucking let him. Like, who cares?
I still think that goal that he scored against the Phoenix Coyotes at the time on his back is still one of the sickest goals of all time.
Absurd, yeah.
Yeah, was that
Nick goal is absurd.
Absurd.
Like,
I love that clip. There's one guy that's like right in front, like that probably could have stopped the puck, and he just throws like his hands on his head. He's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I think it was Paul Mara, that D-man. Remember Big Paul Mara played in New York too? We actually bumped into him in Vegas one weekend. He was fucking on one. He was tagging along with us a little bit too much. I'm like, fella, fuck you. Jesus, man, come on, man. We don't even know you, man. You can't just come to our table. We don't even know you. We're just being nice out of courtesy of the NHL. Next thing you know, next night there's Paul Mara at the table. I'm like, Loops, what the fuck?
It's like, who's sending this guy the itinerary?
Yeah, how the fuck did he find out we were going to be here? So anyways, boys, Max Scherzer, you're an absolute beauty. Jays lost a tough one yesterday. Fucking Nance. Oh, you took Emerson to her first ball game, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd that go?
It looked better on paper, probably. She's 10 months. My fiance and I took her, but Ariel had to leave after 3 innings, so I was solo with her at the game, which was fun for a bit. But you should have seen me trying to get out of there.
No, I was
fucking in one.
You made a great point. Like obviously,
she shit her pants.
Yeah. But then I thought Loops is like, I'm by myself with Emerson at the game, and then he's like, I never really thought it through. Like if I got to take a piss, it's like,
no, you can't.
Would you just bring her in there with you? You're like, hey, hold on here, Yeah.
I got her loaded up in the car, and then I was like 30 minutes from home. I'm like, I got to take a piss in the parking lot. I've been holding this for an hour.
That's a long time. Jays, keep it rolling, boys. I think we're going to come out of it once we get healthy, Loops. So we'll be right back at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Pick 6, fellas. DraftKings' newest fantasy pick'em game. Just choose more or less on 2 or more player stat. The more accurate your picks, the bigger the payouts. Boys, pick 6. I've been firing all playoffs. Fucking McDavid keeps letting me down. I can't believe he doesn't have a point in 2 games. What would the odds be of that before the series started? If McDavid wouldn't have a point after fucking game 2, but plus 3,000. But pick 6, one thing I think boys should be firing at here is block shots. Come playoff time, even I block shots in playoff loops. That's the regular season. I kind of get out of my way. But I think, boys, if you're going to fire here on pick 6, the block shots is the way to go after it, because watching these games, it's so close and so tight checking, a bounce here, a bounce there. Like last night, Dallas, I mean, they were blocking shots on Minnesota's power play. It was outrageous, some of these blocks. Myers and the Bishop kid, it was incredible. So if you're looking to fire, pick 6. I like the over in shots. And to our good friends at DraftKings, I think come playoff time, boys, they should add hits to the equation. Right? Because like these guys are chucking their body. Let's get some hits on the DraftKings app.
You can bet on block shots, but not hits?
You can bet on the pick 6. You can bet on block shots, but not hits.
I have a question. Have you been watching games just rooting for block shots?
No, I haven't. I haven't been, but I'm about to be. Because I have a method loose where I go 3 anytime point guys, or like for example, McDavid and Draisaitl are like over 1.5 points. That's their line on pick 6. So I've been taking that, and then I'll take probably one more guy over 0.5 point, and then I'll take 3 guys over half a goal. The goals really get the boost. Like that's where you get your most bang for your most buck. But I haven't hit one yet, and I was just sitting around watching these games. I'm like, First thing I looked, I'm like, do they have hits? No, but they have blocked shots. I'm like, these guys are eating pucks, Swishy. I'm like, might be a good bet on pick 6, man. I don't know if it's how much upside there is, but guys are blocking everything.
And they have TOI on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's always a good bet too. They don't count obviously overtime, but some of those number one defensemen, you know, if you can get like Charlie McAvoy at like 24 minutes, like generally he's going to play both sides of the ball, obviously power play, penalty kill, and especially these games as they get tighter going down the series. Those aren't a bad bet either for like if you're looking at like time on ice for a number one defenseman, unless it's like an outrageous number, you know, 27 or up. I don't mind that one either, especially this time of year.
Does overtime not count? Overtime should count, right? I mean, it's still the same game. Like, is that?
Usually it doesn't. I know that.
That's kind of chintzy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just 60-minute match. Yeah.
Oh, check the small print, eh?
Yeah.
He's what's the guy's name in Slapshot? He's like, and he never travels without his accountant, Paul Small Print Hyman or whatever.
Yeah, it's Sammy Smallprint. I think.
Yeah, Sam Smallprint.
Yeah,
but that's great. Boys, get in there, ride the upside. DraftKings pick 6. Fellas, get this guy an ice cold Labatt Blue. This segment is brought to you by Labatt. Brewed for the chirps, the rivalries, and the sacred art of trash talk. Labatt, brewed for the roast. Swishy Swish, you were boots on the ground in Philly, buddy. We'll let you start. Who are you dishing an ice cold, pristine Pilsner to?
You know what? I'm going to dish one to, I think I got to give one to Zegras just for that celly. I loved it. Like, you know, he's had some epic cellies this year where he hung up and he didn't call back. He went full Geno Smith with the Anaheim Ducks. You know, they wrote him, but he didn't write back and he hung up the phone on them. So I like that against his old team, which was nasty. And then last night, I love that celebration right to the box with 5 guys in there. You see all the guys in the box too as he scored. They're all hugging up and they're huddled up and you know, like celebrating in the box as a 5-man unit. And then Zegras goes right over there. So I thought that was sick. Z was buzzing last night. He was more physical than I've ever seen him play. The hair was flowing. Shane Gillis was in there in attendance at the game. He had a Zegras jersey on. Fletcher Cox was there, had a Zegras jersey on. So the people of Philadelphia, man, they love this guy, and I hope he gets locked up long term because he's feeding off this crowd for sure. So get Z-Man, Z-Money, an icy cold Labatt Blue fella.
Yeah, that Shane Gillis isn't scared of an ice cold Labatt Blue. That guy loves crushing pints. Listen, I was going to give one to Z too, so let me piggyback this. And it's kind of everything that you said. You know, when Z left Anaheim, I was worried, Loops, about him going into Philly. I'm like, if he plays kind of loose hockey and turns pucks over, and these Philadelphia fans are going to eat this poor kid alive, and he's going to wish he was back in Corona Del Mar more than anything. But, you know, I got to give credit to Rick Tocchet, but mainly Z-Man. His game, I've watched him a lot over the last 3 weeks. Like, his decision-making is much better. His play away from the puck is night and day. He doesn't force too many pucks. He's playing physical. Where I'm going with this is he's responsible out there. Not only can he still dish it and have great vision, which he's had his whole career, but the way he's playing loops away from the puck and the little details. I mean, this guy's turned himself into a legit player, and I'm happy for him. I was always pulling for him. But his complete game is why I was going to give him an ice cold Labatt Blue.
Yeah. You're right. The way he obviously struggled in Anaheim the last couple of years, and you're right. If you play like that in Philly, I kind of touched on it before, the fans, all they want to see is hard-nosed hockey. And I think he's opened up a lot of eyes around the league this year that obviously that shot that's a 10 out of 10.
That was legit.
He's playing, he's getting in there in the scrums. He's playing responsible defensively, and all the credit to him, and maybe a little bit to Rick Tocchet too.
Yeah. I'll tell you what one wasn't a fucking 10 out of 10 shot was Sealer's goal on Skinner. He just muffed it. It was like no screen, no nothing, just muff city.
Change up. Yeah, crossed him up.
Like my tennis serve, Swishy, a little fucking Tim Wakefield knuckleball coming at you.
Yeah, muffins count, man. That goal, I was sitting there right on that end. Muffins do count. They don't ask how, baby. Yeah, I can't believe he missed that, man. And then the Skinner chants after that were incredible. Like a minute straight. Just that poor fucking guy. That trade didn't work out. Huh?
No, for anyone. Yeah, Ingram hasn't been great either, has he, Loops? I told Loops that I'm like, Ingram's guy. He's just getting shelled first 2 games. Even the Cates goal and you would know this more than me, Loops. You were down there doing that. You have that move that, like, for Skinner, like, it's not going to go backdoor. Can you not poke check and be aggressive? Like Cates just takes it and stuffs it over his pad. I'm like, I honestly thought that was a bad goal too. If I'm a D-man, I'm looking at him like, fuck, buddy, you got to have that.
I think isn't the rule as a D-man, like if the crease is the goalie?
Yeah.
Like
so,
that's
yeah, exactly.
D-man can't really do much about that. He's the guy's on the other side of him, but you can't let him come through the crease
and just flip it over
situation.
your pad. Yeah. Z, keep it going, buddy. Turning into a fan favorite, like you said, in Philly. Loops, you want to dish out an ice cold Labatt Blue, fella?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to give it to a suit, but I talked about it before. Danny Briere.
Yeah.
Completely has changed the culture there. I think Keith Jones is part of it too.
Yep.
Bringing in Rick Tocchet, and we touched on it before, but these guys are playing a certain type of way right now, and they've got the fans totally behind them, and the moves he's made, and just like you can see that is a tight-knit group right now, and a lot of credit to Keith Jones, Danny Briere, and Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, and you know what I like about all those guys is they're beauties. I don't really know DB that much, but from talking to you and Uppy, but they brought in ex-Flyers.
Yeah.
They brought in guys that played there that love to be a Flyer. Like, I don't know why more teams around the NHL don't fucking do that.
And hockey guys.
Hockey guys.
I'm sure there's behind the scenes, there's an analytics guy there somewhere, but I don't know. That doesn't look like a team built on analytics.
Yeah.
It's like they've got a really good mix of character and guys that are all playing for each other.
Yeah. The analytics guys' offices are way the fuck down the end of the hallway. They're like, hey, go grab that numbers guy. We got a numbers question for him here, right? Fuck. What are the numbers saying?
Yeah, our analytical guys in Philadelphia, they actually work from home.
Yeah,
you don't even need an office.
Zoom those boys in. We got a question here. Fucking talks is tie. The start of the game, it was fucking perfect. By the end of the game, it was sideways. He was fucking losing his mind back there yelling at the refs. I'm like, how bad does Rick Tocchet want to get out there and take a run at somebody right now? Big time. So, Loops, that's good. Those boys definitely deserve an ice cold Labatt Blue. Boys, I'm dishing out 3 here. Gabriel Landeskog, fella, get yourself an ice cold pristine Pilsner. Me and Loops were watching the game. He's like, did you take the Avs again at minus 290? I'm like, I sure did, Loops. And I'm like, he's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, yeah, I know. And I was a little concerned. I was just talking about Landy Swishy to Loops. I said, you know, it's unfortunate because he's not the same player he was pre-reconstructive knee surgery. He's come back and he's still a very effective player, but like if you remember Landeskog when they won that cup before he got hurt his knee, like I mean the guy was a beast. And as I'm saying that, he comes out and scores the OT winner for me to get the Avs up 2-0. So Landy, get yourself an ice cold Labatt Blue. Moving down to Tampa, Brandon Hagel, good Saskatchewan lad. Get yourself an ice cold pristine Pilsner. Gordie Howe hat trick, boys, the other night. And dropped the big kid from Montreal, Slavkovsky. I think Hagel learned in the Four Nations when he fought Chucky. He's like, I can fight. And now he's in there chucking him, Loops. And you were a guy that would chuck him every now and then when you had to. But, I mean, when you see a guy like Hagel doing it, it's just, it's so awesome to me. And to have a Gordie Howe, he deserves a nice cold beer, fella.
Yeah, that series is really getting going. I think everyone kind of thought that would be that and Dallas Mini would be the best series, but that's living up to expectations there. That one's about it's a powder keg.
Yeah,
that one could explode at any time.
Yeah, the roof's gonna come off the bell center.
Number 10 for Tampa has something to do with it at some point in time.
Oh yeah, he's in the box just chirping. God knows what the worm was saying, but you gotta love John Cooper, Swishy. We were talking after game 1. Me and you were breaking it down here on Tuesday. And I'm like, you got to have Sabourin in the lineup. And what does Coop do? Bring Sabourin in. And let's not forget, Sabourin got dropped by Jack Guy earlier in the year. So it's not like he's coming into a series where he's the toughest guy. Like he went after Anderson, but in the back of his mind, he knows big Wi-Fi's out there. But you still have to have Sabourin in the lineup for that reason, just to make everyone feel a little bit, stronger.
So if Scooter Sabourin, if he takes that penalty, which he did in game 2, and Montreal ends up scoring on the power play, is he still in the lineup for game 3? Like, that was a meat stick play late in the game. Why he's out there at that time, I don't know. I mean, obviously, Coop loves him and he trusts him enough to put him out there, but 2 minutes, 15 seconds left.
Yeah.
And he takes a run at Anderson from behind.
We were at the Jays game getting pinned.
Oh, yeah. It was such a bad penalty, fellas.
Left, I guess
2 minutes. And, yeah.
Coop, I love
and
that.
There was
I don't think he should be out there probably 2 minutes. That might have been just a Did he just jump over, kind of Peter Klima style back in the day, just jumped over the boat?
No, he was getting a regular shift. He had one at probably 3 minutes and 45 seconds, maybe 4 minutes, and then got another one late, with 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And then there was that play in the neutral zone where it kind of got pushed out, and he was backtracking because he was slashing across the zone.
Yeah.
And he had to kind of filter back towards his end right at the blue line, and he tagged Anderson without the puck. And I mean, they reviewed it for a 5-minute major. It shouldn't have been a 5-minute major. Gave him 2.
I saw the play. It was
he almost. Yeah.
It was right at the red line, right? Anderson's back was turned, Sammer came up and drilled him.
In between the blue and the red,
Yeah, that was a meatball move. The puck wasn't there. It's a penalty.
Yes. I'm just saying, if Montreal scores and they win that game, they go up 2-0. I don't know if you could put
Saburn's
in the
back
lineup.
in fucking Springfield or Syracuse, whatever the fuck their farm team is. Yeah, to answer your question, no, he's not playing. But I'll tell you what, that's how much the game's changed. When we were in playoffs, our fourth line, if it was a tight playoff game, second period, 10-minute mark, they might have been done at that point. I know the game is completely different, but to have your fourth line guy out there with 2 minutes left, I mean, good Coop must trust him, but you can't trust him.
He's not going to be out there in game 3.
That's a great point. That's a great series, Loops. You're right about that. And you played the Bell Center. You quieted that place down. You guys went in there and fucking beat them, but much like Philly, playoff hockey at the Bell Center is must-see TV. Last one here. Get this guy nice cold Labatt Blue. I know this beauty loves him. Alex Killorn, killer. 3 points in game 2. Guy is a playoff guy. I mean, the way he played all year, he's gone in there and changed the whole culture of this organization, just bringing his championship pedigree there. But even in game 1, I thought he was, him and Terry and Carlson were the best players. He's just a playoff guy, Loops, and that's why he deserves a nice cold Labatt Blue. Can they keep it up? I don't know. We'll get into that, but you must have always loved Killorn's game.
Yeah. And like you said, he's a guy that's historically just elevated his game in the playoffs, like all those Tampa guys did. Palat, some of those guys, they were just always, 40, 50-point guys during the regular season, but in the playoffs, always finding a way to score that big goal, make that big play, block that big shot, whatever it may be. But yeah, Killorn lives right down the street from me. Beauty.
Yeah.
He deserves this. I don't know if they'll be able to keep it up, but they're playing a lot better than I thought that they had in them, especially defensively against Edmonton.
Yeah, I want to get into that with you right now. But yeah, so him and Loops and Killer, that's the rich neighborhood, Swishy, where they live in there. If I just drive by and honk the horn. Hey, boys, how you doing?
Hey, boys, I'm outside the gate.
Hey, boys, I'll meet you for lunch. Killer, keep going. And like Loops said, Duckies have had a good game plan so far. So moving on here, Stanley Cup playoffs, because it's the Cup, fellas. Let's start right there because we got Loops in the house. Oilers Ducks is 1-1. Loops, if I would have told you before the series, we touched on it earlier, McDavid wouldn't have a point. I would have bet against it. I know you're
I saw a stat today. Only 5 times in his entire career has he gone 2 games without a point, which is absolutely insane.
That is insane. I will say this. I think they vote on the Norris Trophy before the playoffs start. For Evan Bouchard's sake, I hope they fucking already did, because get the smelling salts out for that fuck. I mean, he made, in the first 2 games, he made plays where and I'm hard on him, and I've tried not to be hard on him because he's got 90-some points. It's more than I had in my fucking career in 1 year. But game 1 and game 2, give him some smelling salts. He's got to get going. But I give the Ducks credit, Loops. I thought the system would really break down. Now, both overs have hit 6-4 last night, but Joe Quenneville and there's a coaching staff, and you made a good point about Jay Woodcroft. They seem to have kind of some success here, slowing him down to a certain point.
McDavid, I mean, he's turned the puck over more in these first 2 games than I've ever seen him. And some of those is I do think he got a little injured last night. He was not moving the same way. And that play where he flicked it on his backhand there, he would never make that play if he's got his legs. But the Ducks, while they're giving up a lot of zone time, they're doing a really good job keeping Edmonton to the outside. Mm-hmm. And if you're Edmonton, though, I mean, I still see them winning this series. And for them, it's just simplify and just don't turn pucks over. Just put them in the spin cycle in their own zone over and over again. And you would think the Ducks will break down. I mean, I think they gave up the most goals against of any playoff team.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Yeah.
But like you said, to Bouchard and even McDavid. And it's crazy to be lumping him. Like,
Yeah.
just can't throw pucks blindly. Just keep that zone time, and you don't have to score every shift. Like, just wear them down, and they should be fine. But credit to Anaheim for what seems to be a good game plan, and their penalty kill has been incredible. But just keeping them to the outside and kind of frustrating Edmonton.
Yeah, for sure. Swishy?
Yeah, I didn't catch that game last night. I was watching the Minnesota and Stars game, but yeah, I think they'll be fine. I mean, last year we were at that series when they went 0-2 down to LA and, snapped out of it, went back home, figured it out. Now this is a little bit different, starting at home, now going to go on the road. But yeah, I think as long as McDavid is fine, as Draisaitl gets his conditioning up a little bit more as the series goes, as he hasn't played a ton, shake the rust off a little bit. I think these guys are fine. They just need to get a little bit of goaltending, like a little bit of run support, and they'll be fine. They'll catch their stride. So I'm not really tripping about these guys. As long as McDavid's fine, but it sounds like he's a little bit. He got a little stung, eh?
Yeah, the guy kind of rolled over on his ankle a little bit there, and then Ekholm fell on his other ankle later in the game. I'm like, stay away from him for fuck's sakes. I never thought I would say this, but they need Dickinson back desperately too. Even though that Szymanski played nice, what a shot that was. Listen, I think kudo to the Ducks. And like Loops and you guys just said, the Oilers have a history of this, of having home ice, losing one game at home, even going down 2-1 to the Kings. You can't keep McDavid off the score sheet forever. We all know that. I expect him to come down here. I think they're staying at the Vale Hotel, have a nice soft mattress or firm mattress there, enjoy the vitamin D. I just think we're going to see McDavid turn it up here. But I got to give the Ducks credit. Like Luke said, I've never seen McDavid turn so many pucks over. I anticipated this series being 2-0 coming back to Anaheim, but once again, the Ducks have proved me wrong all year, so maybe they will continue to. Swishy, let's go. Vegas, Utah, 1-1. Huge win for the Mammoth. I want to give some love to Logan Cooley. Guy's got a cut on his face already, a black eye or something here. He's fucking in there battling and then gets rewarded with the game winner. I cannot wait to see Game 3 in Salt Lake to see how the crowd is, but what a big win for those boys. And you talk about a team that believes in each other. You could put the Mammoth right in there too, fella.
Yeah, Soak City's going to be buzzing on Friday. I was actually talking to Kells a little bit. We're trying to get the pregame warm-up tunes dialed in. So they're going to be buzzing, man. Those Latter-day Saints are going to be all goofed up on Mountain Dew and ready to go, and the other people will be drinking out of those Tusk beers, so I'm fired up for that. But for them, I think they got to get the power play going a little bit. They were better through the neutral zone with the puck in Game 2. I think that's Vegas. That's a bit like the biggest difference, I think, with Tortorella coming in. Just the way they're defending in the neutral zone. They've kind of, they've tightened it up a little bit. It's hard to get through it. So that's one thing I'm looking at for Utah. And I think they got to stay on the physicality side of things and keep bringing the criminal element a little bit. I thought Tuna, for what he played in that game, Spicy Tuna, Liam O'Brien, was effective. Like, he was in on the forecheck. They need more of that. They're a little bit of a lighter team, especially in their top six. So if you can get those guys going, and Jack McBain is going to be out, I think, for quite some time. It's going to be a long series, but I like the team speed of Utah. I think they're a faster team. Their goaltending's been good, and if they can get their power play going, look out. I took them in 7, or maybe I even took them in 6. So we'll see, boys. It's going to be sick, though.
I really thought in this series, Loops, that home ice would be, you often ask me this too when we sit down and watch games, like, does home ice mean what it used to? And I don't think it does. In this series, I thought it kind of did, and I really anticipated or hoped that Vegas would hold court at home. This series, in my opinion, is now on. Like, I could see Utah coming back up 3-1 now. Like, most likely will be 2-2 because they're so close teams, but I just thought Vegas had to hold court.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, how it just doesn't feel... When we were playing playoff series, you would have your matchup for that series, and you'd be like, your line is going against this guy's line the whole time. And now it seems like these guys, the matchups are not the same. And home ice, well, obviously you'd always rather be at home in your own bed and whatever. I just don't think it's this big of a factor. I think teams are very confident they can go on the road and win 2 games in a series. Yeah. Where it used to be like, fuck, we got to hold home ice.
Yeah, that's how I always thought.
And it doesn't feel like the same anymore. But no, that's an exciting series. Been super physical. And that one's a pick'em.
Yeah, for sure it is. Speaking of a pick'em, Dallas, what a win last night going into Mini. I had Mini. Fuck. Hey, the Wild had their chances on the power play, man. I'm no power play specialist. Lupul was, but like the lack of one-timers that Mini has on this peeper, like maybe get Faber out there and have Hughes and Faber. Right now they have 4 forwards. I don't know who would be the guy out to if you wanted to go with Faber, but watching them last night, you can't not take advantage of 2 or 3 power plays in overtime, Swishy. And to me, yeah, they were moving around, but I'm like, who's going to be the shooter here besides Kaprizov down in the corner where he hit the post? Like, who else is a threat to fucking absolutely rip it? To me, that's kind of a concern with their power play, and that was a huge win for Dallas, man. I mean, they have home ice back.
Yeah, it's tough too because if you're looking at hands, right? Like they only have one-timer option theoretically, and that's to Kaprizov. If Boldy's going to play a strong side, yeah, he could throw it up to Hughes if it starts off the left flank, but they want to work it over obviously to Kaprizov. So I don't know what you could do if you could throw Boldy maybe in the middle or on the goal line, and you put Faber on the left wall so he can just hammer one-timers. But you're right. I mean, ultimately they're going to have to find the one-timer if they want to score on this power play. It just gets tough at playoff time when you don't really have a shot, a threat shot at the top of the key. Like that's why I don't want to go back to Vegas, but like for Vegas with Marner at the top, like he's not really a threat to shoot. Like the power play runs from the goal line up on that unit because Stone is basically the quarterback on the goal line. Now for this unit, they could use a right shot on that left side to maybe, at least back Dallas up a little bit. So yeah, you make a good point. I don't know what they're going to do personnel wise, but yeah, maybe you try Faber over there just to hammer some pucks.
And I'll tell you what, like the one-timer loops when I was killing penalties, that was to me that would fuck me up, and I didn't want to you don't want to get in front of one, and you start one-timing pucks and the box gets moving around. Like Dallas was blocking a ton of shots, like we talked about. We're in the pick 6 segment, but they were just little wristers. There's a difference between a little floater coming through and to fucking someone leaning on a one-timer, and you got to get in front of that,
For sure. I mean, and these are all going to be long series.
Yeah.
Guys now are absolutely fearless blocking shots, especially the D-man that's like 20 feet away.
I know.
Back where you can take it to the face, but no one wants to do that.
No.
So you start firing that puck, it's like you were the defenseman, but every time you got to be like, fuck me, like Major League when he turns.
Oh, yeah. Dor, didn't this guy pitch you inside? Yeah. Grab a bat.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Good game, Dorn. I remember Sheldon Surrey one night in Dallas. He fucking was leaning on these one-timers loops, and we had a night planned out after the game, too. He's fucking one-time. I'm like, Shelly, keep her down, man. Like, he's like, I'm tripping. He couldn't. He's like, I'm not trying. I'm like, fuck, if that hits me, I'm going to die. And I'm not going out for fucking Sam and Nick's or Nick and Sam's, whatever the place was. But that series is on. Avs and Kings 2-0. Keep it rolling, Avs. Out east here, boys. We touched on the Flyers and Habs series. Kings Sens tonight, game 3. I hammered the Sens. Must win, as we all know. I just got a feeling that this one's going to go back to Carolina 2-2. Ottawa had so many chances in game 2 and overtime to get it done there, but must win for Brady and the boys. And then last but not least, Buffalo, Boston. Once again, Boston, man, all year they've just played with structure and great goaltending from Swayman. Going back to TD Garden loops. This Boston team, I know you got a little scar tissue from TD Garden. I don't want to bring that up to you, but this Boston team's got some mojo going, and they just good goaltending and big D come playoff time. You can win like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's did anyone have them as a playoff team this year? Probably not.
No.
But I mean, you just said it. The size on the back end is a big thing come playoff time. And there might be games during the regular season when you're looking at that team like, they don't move the puck that well. But like a guy like Zadorov, every team in the league would take him come playoff time.
I know.
And I got to be honest, I'm pulling for Buffalo in that one just because it's a cool story and that building's rocking and Boston's had their time.
Yeah.
But Buff to have them going on a run, I think would be great for hockey. So kind of pulling for them, but again, they're going to have to be patient against that Boston team. Like nothing, they're not getting any freebies from them.
No, they're really not. And Swish, I don't know if you remember, but we had just missed the playoffs my first year in Denver, and Loops and the Leafs were playing the Bees. And obviously I'm waiting to see what happens with Loops because I'm waiting to play my year-end bender. and they go up in game 7 like 4-1. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, there goes Loops is going to be like, they could go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals in the final. And then, sorry to bring it up, but the meltdown of all meltdowns happened.
yeah.
But I mean, what are your feelings on this series here, Swishy? It's 1-1. Obviously, the advantage goes back to Boston. Buffalo's outchanced them game 1 and game 2, but Swayman's back there just kicking.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at like right now, who is Lindy? I like it a little bit rough. Going to start in the net.
Yeah.
Like, is he going with
the guy let in a
I know,
backhand from center ice?
That was a stinker. Fuck. His save percentage, Ukapekalukin or whatever, his save percentage is like 880.
I know, and the kid loves Chippewa Street, so I would go back to him. But is he going to go to Alex Lyon? And I don't know. That would be the one thing I would be looking at. Because if you go back to the Finn, it's like if he comes in and plays, not great, and Boston wins one. Now maybe Alex Lyon is a little bit nervous because he doesn't have a ton of playoff experience, if any. But I think Buffalo they got to stay out of the bullshit. Like they got pulled into the pile a little bit. I think they can play heavy, but not Boston heavy. And I think they just got to stick to kind of their guns and how they finished that game 1 of just working them down low, making their defense turn. Some of those guys on the Boston backhand are a little bit clunky. They got a lot of team speed. So I would just what worked all year. I think they got to get back to their game. It sounds like Josh Norris is going to be out for game 3, which is a little bit of a dagger, but
that stings.
That's baseball at this time of year, boys.
Yeah, the game. I mean, I think we can all agree the playoffs have been great. I mean, fast. It's so fast. Like it's just like a bounce here, a bounce there. Obviously, goaltending has been important, but yeah, we got a lot of good series, boys. So we'll see how they all play out here. Rumor mill. We got Loops here. Loops is Troops, ex-Leaf. Loops. The rumor mill is they have talked to Matt Sundin about a role in the front office of some sort. And also rumor coming out of the big smoke is Gary Roberts has had a meeting with the Leafs on having some kind of role as well. Obviously, Keith Pelly talked about analytics and all that. I don't really agree with all that. But I do agree with getting in some old Leafs. Darcy Tucker, get Tucks in there. Shane Corson. But as a guy who wore that Maple Leaf, would you like to see some old ex-players get involved a little bit more?
Yeah, I think, again, we touched on it earlier with Philly. And there's been again, a big culture change.
Yeah.
And Matt Sundin is maybe the most beloved Leaf ever. Like when Matt Sundin walks into that room, whether it's the president or the GM or a lesser role, but you'd be crazy not to have Matt Sundin as part of that franchise if he wants a role. And I would pretty much let him pick what that role is. I did hear the same quote that you just about the new GM has to be an analytics guy, I believe. I again strongly disagree with. You can have a whole analytics department if you want, but the GM has to be able to relate to the players. I truly believe that, and I think Matt Sundin would do a fantastic job of that. Or Gary Roberts. Either of those guys are great people.
Maniac.
Yeah.
Robs is an absolute maniac. But I play with Mats in Vancouver, and I'll never forget Swishy. The first day I walked in there, we signed him halfway through the year. I was starstruck, and I'm like, fuck, he's on your team. You gotta you can't just be like, hey, can I have your autograph, bud? But what a great guy, and ultimate pro. And Loops is right. He's probably besides, Dougie, Wendell, Mats. I mean, it kind of goes like that. So I would love both those guys to be part of the Toronto Maple Leafs moving forward.
Yeah, I just think you need a fearless leader, a guy that's actually done it, been in the trenches, played playoff hockey, played a big role in the National League. That just goes so far, and especially in a big market like that, you're in the mecca of the sport, right? And it's no disrespect to analytical guys or guys that didn't really play the game. It's just I just think the presence means so much in an organization like that, where you could appoint different avenues of your cabinet, where you have an analytical guy, you have maybe a couple other ex-players, Leafs guys that have been around, and you formulate your cabinet so. So I don't know. We'll see. Mike Gillis, that name's been thrown out there too, as another name. So
my former GM.
I guess we'll see. Yeah. So
good guy, Mike. Not a bad guy. Although until I came in my year-end meeting, my second year, and he had every goddamn restaurant I was at the whole fucking second half of the year. He's like, oh, look at this. I'm like, let me have a look at that there. I'm like, oh, fucking Global? That was just dinner. He's like, well, you were still out. I'm like, fuck. Did you have someone follow me? I think he might have loops. I think he might have had someone follow me. I love Matt's. I love Rob's. Both absolute legends. So we'll see if hopefully the Leafs can find a role for both those guys. Last but not least, before our guests, back up the Brinks truck. Beep, beep, beep. Back her up, boys. Matthew Schaefer. Bonuses, $3.5 million this year. As Lupul said, that's well-deserved. But how nice is that for a rook? Little $3.5 extra million for the summer. Hey, boys, dinners, lunches, beers. I got it. Let's have a summer. Get the boat out. Get it on the lake. Let's play the hip. Let's go.
Yeah, good for him. Again, well-deserved. I mean, that is just a drop in the bucket to what he's going to make in his career.
But at 19 years old or whatever, right?
No, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Hey, Swish, I'll tell you one last little Lupul story here before we get to our guest. It's the lockout year. So Loops is down playing with us in the Banana League. And that's kind of where we became really good buddies. And like, this is 3/4 of the way in the year. I'm going over to grab him for dinner. I'm like, Loops, you ready? He's like, yeah, just come in for a second. I'm just grabbing him. I'm like, all right. And I come in his room and he's got all his checks on his desk, right? And I'm like, okay, well, that's just a normal paycheck. And then I kind of look at then there's a signing bonus one down there for like fucking 350. I'm like, Loops, this is a signing bonus check. He's like, yeah, I know. Fuck, I don't have a bank account down here just yet, so I'm just gonna hang on to her. I'm like, you're just gonna.
This is pre-auto debit, I guess.
Yeah, there was no direct deposit back
like
then.
Happy Gilmore driving around with all the big checks in his backseat.
He's like, that guy's got a big check. Just give me one of those big checks. So, Loops, man, thank you so much. You're obviously part of the Missin Curfew team. Welcome anytime. Swishy, my man. Good luck at your show tonight. Enjoy Philadelphia. We got one of our favorite coaches, me and Swishy, Troy G. Ward, coming at you next on Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Swishy Swish. One of my favorite coaches, and not only that, one of my favorite people or persons in the game of hockey. When I met this guy, I got to be honest with you, Swishy, the love of the game was fucking almost gone, bro. Like, it was like, you know what? I played in the league for however long. It was a good run. I had enough. And this gentleman here made me enjoy going to the rink again and made the game fun again. I know he means a lot to you. So, Troy G. Ward, Wardo, my man, it's good to see you. You're looking good, buddy. And I cherished our days together, buddy. I really enjoyed our time together.
Likewise, it's great to be with both of you and echo the same thoughts. Changed my life too in a lot of good ways. So appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, so let's start with you and Swish. You boys go way back. How did that relationship start with you and Swishy?
Young man living in Madison at the time. I was coaching the Wisconsin Badgers and moved to town, got to know some people in town and started to do some private lessons. Got to know Jordan's dad, Michael, in a great way. And, just started to deal with Mike and dealing with his boys' development a little bit, and then got together and decided, hey, let's do some private stuff early in the morning, 6 a.m.-ish. So we started hitting the rink together way back when he was a young strapping lad trying to gain traction in this game.
Yeah, we used to go. Shout out to Cap Ice, by the way, rink A and B. Rink B back in the day, Obes used to it was run by, the late Mr. Suter there, Bobby Suter. So Ryan's dad. And, we had this rink there in Madison. The Madison Capitals played out of it, Middleton High School. But rink B was like this gritty rink, Obes. Like, if there was a broken piece of plexiglass along the wall, they would just replace it with they go over to Lowe's and just get like a piece of plywood. So there'd be like wood there for the day. So, and there was never in the mornings, Wardle, never was the ice done. It was always cut up, beat it up, probably from like 3 or 4 men's league games late at night. So we would go there at 5:30, 6 in the morning. It'd be me and my brother, and a group of probably like 3 or 4 kids that were our age, Obes, and we would just do private lessons. Wardo would teach us the little nuances of the games, of just how to find the triangle under sticks. Yeah. Toe caps was a big thing, manipulating toe caps. And my favorite personally as a defenseman, eyeballs and assholes. Yeah. That always has stuck with me to this day. Yeah. You see eyeballs? Don't go chasing.
Don't go chasing.
You see an asshole? No diddy. You got to go close on that guy. So, yeah, Wardo, you taught me everything I knew about the game, especially from a young age, and still things that I implement in watching hockey, talking to guys, and certainly while I was playing.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was obviously a great time for both of us and for a lot of other kids. I think, Obes, the one thing about the game that's so great is, everything in life stops once you walk in the rink. everything.
Yeah.
It's just time to be with a teammate, time to be with people that love the game, and that's it kind of stops all time, and it's just obviously a good process to go through together on the ice. So certainly enjoyed my time.
Doesn't matter how mad your chick is for how late you stayed out. Hey, you go to the rink, you're like, boys, how we doing?
No.
Hey, boys, how we doing?
Yep, boys, how we doing?
What do we got today, bud?
Everything stops.
Oh, the best thing too is we'd be on the ice, and like, you know, we probably started skating with Wardo when I was probably like 10 years old, all the way until like 14 or 15, maybe even a little bit younger than that. And we would be on the ice, and if Wardo didn't like one of the first drills, because the best thing about Wardo too is he'd always take time to get your hands warmed up before practice. So he'd always be doing little touch plays or just touches, just get it going, get it off the yellow, peel pucks off, stick handle, through triangles. So he'd always do these drills just to get your hands warmed up, especially early in the morning with a bunch of young kids. But if he didn't like how some guys were maybe warming up and not taking it seriously that day, he would stop at the practice, put his hat on sideways like this. He'd be like, holy fuck, Mike, are you guys going to show up today? He's chewing out a kid at like 11 years old. It would be the best. But it was always just that brutal honesty, Wardo, that I really appreciated about you, because you don't find that with a lot of coaches. You know, and as you go, you learn to appreciate guys that just kind of call it how it is. And you were always that man.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Wardo, I want to talk to you about your passion, and I like to see that you had the hat tilt. You brought it right to pro hockey with you. I like that. You never changed. You know, you had your bread and butter. I like that. But you know, one of the things that I appreciated about you too was your passion for the game, and like, you know, you obviously, you know, the ins and outs of it. But where did you first get your passion for the game? Because that, no matter if you play with a guy or you get coached by a guy, you can't fake that. That's something you can't fake in any league. And one of the things I knew right from day one with you, I'm like, this fucking guy loves the game.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Minnesota on a pond. You know, it says 10,000 lakes, but there's like 20,000 ponds. So I grew up on a pond, and I don't know. It was ingrained to me as a kid. I was actually skating at an age when I could barely walk. Yeah. Like, I walked across our driveway onto a pond at like 1.5, and I started skating. And by the time I was like 5, I'd already skated like 3.5 years on a pond, never been on a team, could go anywhere I wanted at any pace I wanted, and could stick handle, and, you know, did things that most kids at that age couldn't do. But I had no school. You know, I wasn't in elementary. All I did was play hockey 24 hours a day. And my dad he was in athletics, but he wasn't a hockey guy. So I just caught it at a young age. And, you know, if I was to be great for my folks, which I would be all the time for all of our folks, like my mom used to tell me I used to make all of my plate of food into a hockey rink. Like every time I played or I ate dinner, she goes, you just turn it into a hockey rink, and the peas would be the puck, and you'd play around, you know, the peas forever, and you wouldn't eat your food right away, and you were that's the way it was. I was just fortunate to love the game at a young age, and still do today.
Speaking of eating, Swishy, one of Troy G. Ward's greatest lines is, "Is that guy there? He needs to grab the short fork." He's like, good player. Yeah. That guy needs to grab the short fork. Him and me both. I go, him and me both, Wardo. Him and me both.
Yeah, he'd look at a guy and be like, Jesus Christ, like, you swallowed an airbag? Like, holy fuck. You know, the salad bar's right over there, buddy. He'd be like, holy fuck, are we getting on the ice? But Wardo, one thing I wanted to ask you, just, you know, in today's game, right, like you were so good even back in those days of the early 2000s of teaching how to play like the game. And the game was all 2-on-1. And a lot of those drills we did were 2-on-1. Nowadays, you watch a lot of the young players coming through the league, the Logan Coolies of the world, some of these guys that are really highly skilled players, kids that definitely have skill sets that are beyond even my belief. But a lot of times they make these situations 1-on-1 where I just don't fully think they understand how to play 2-on-1. So what do you think, you know, is, as the game moves on, as the game just kind of fast forwards, why is that? Is that just start in the early days of skill development, or do these kids not necessarily understand how to play 2-on-1? Like, everything with you was always 2-on-1, how to find the one-timer. Like, that was the way to score. It still is. But you see less and less of it as kids come up, and they have to really learn that when they get to the National League.
Well, I think social media and video and all that has changed the game drastically, especially for skill coaches today. A lot of the skill stuff is just cones and, I think you got into it the other day with an ex-player on just skill development and what it's like. And everything's one-on-one. Everything is through a cone or through the stick apparatus and at a high rate of speed. And there's music on, and they're just flying around the rink. And it's one thing to be able to do that. That's another thing to be able to, see everything around you so that you know when to share the puck and when you're going to try and open up and present your hands so that you can get a pass back. So that part of development, when you look at it from a financial module, you look at it from a lesson module, like it's fast paced, got to run a lot of people through, don't have a lot of time for passes and missed passes. So we'll just do a one-on-one skill development thing. And then you get to the higher levels and you find out pretty quick, like, I only want to play with a guy that I can give it to that'll give it back.
Yeah.
Period.
Fucking
if he
right,
can't give it
Mordo.
back to me, like it's no use to me to play this game.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing, and that's where I think a lot of people now are finding, like, via trade, no matter what level you coach, like, yeah, he's a great player by himself. Unfortunately, there's 9 other guys on the ice, and that's when it becomes a struggle. But I think it's changed from a lot of development and just the evolution of the game and the way the game is looked at, and how much one-on-one training is done, and not done in small group anymore. It's not the whole private lesson thing of 6 guys and a goalie, maybe 2D, 4 forwards, constantly flipping where you're playing defense and you're playing forward, and you understand the tactical version of the game. Because that's a part that is really truly missed, in my opinion, of all the individual stuff. It's one thing to say I'm an individual skilled player, and then I can go find my way into that system a little bit. What makes systems great is tactics. If you don't know tactics, it's hard to be good in systems. And that's where the hockey IQ and all that falls apart. But you don't find a lot of that development tactically now in the game, in terms of, I can pay this as a parent for my son to go develop in this tactical situation.
Yeah, I like, that was another one of your good sayings. Present your hands when you want to get the biscuit, right? That was another thing that you're always like,
Yep.
you do drills, like, present your hands. One thing I loved about your practices is how many touches we got, right? Like, I came down from Calgary where that goofball was up there, and his practices were all like, get it out, chip it out, chip it out. And then I came down to you, and especially for the developmental league, which the American Hockey League was and this is supposed to be, Wardo, I thought that was one of your best feathers in your caps, man. I mean, you look like a guy at, like, Connor Banks. That was his name, wasn't it? Was it Banks or the centerman, the tough guy?
Carter?
Yeah, that guy's, for example, that I didn't see him when he first got to you, but I can guarantee you by the end, his skills were a million times better just from the touches that he got being with you in Abbotsford and wherever before.
Yeah, a lot of those guys really grew there. Hats off to Luke Strand, Cale McLean, guys that were my assistants, especially even Robbie Fatorik. Like, he's a beauty.
Yeah,
like, he's the beauty of all beauties, but, like, just really good skill guys that saw the game a certain way and were really advantageous for the growth of our team, the growth of me as a coach. But those people all added a lot to that whole presentation we had in Abbotsford. But, I think we understood that if we are going to develop to the next level, if you can't give it and you can't get it back and you can't present your hands and get to spots, like, it's a tough game at the next level. We're seeing that every night right now in the NHL playoffs. Like, it's a tough game, man. And you got to be able to get open and work without the puck to spots where you can make things happen.
Swishy, sorry, Warren. You know what's driving me crazy about the National League nowadays is, and I get it, these teams are playing 5, they're sinking in, they're keeping it to the outside. But this play around the yellow now in the offensive zone, like, one D man will just rim it behind the net all the way to the other guy. And, like, I watched last night, and it was the Oilers. I mean, the puck was on the yellow for the majority of the night. Have you noticed that in the game now, that how much the puck is on the yellow? Like, we always want to get it off of there.
Yeah, it's let's use the term CPA, change the point of attack.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. That happens every night right now. But the really, really good teams don't always, like, they'll CPA east to west and they'll CPA north to south. And when those dynamic teams do both, and then they get internal right off the rail inside, where they have good movement internally. And then the other part of it too, to your point, Obi, is, like, do you have an anchor? So if you want to CPA the puck and you want to change the point of attack, eventually that's potentially 4 guys on the outside of the rink. Well, you need an anchor, because at some point in time, you're going to break them down where you need somebody at the net and you got to put pucks there. It's the only way you're going to win, and then you got to fill from the outside in. But I think the whole anchor part of the game at the highest level is really the key. Like, you've got to get traffic in and around the net. And the way the game works now is you can go through the blue, and you're probably a better team offensively if you go through the blue versus go try and be an anchor and just stand above the goalie all the time. To me, your routes have to take you into the blue, and then you got to get out of the blue. But I think the whole point of changing the point of attack is still based on an anchor. Do you have somebody at the net?
Right. No, that's a good point. And Wardo, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you're the pride and joy of North St. Paul. You make your way through the college ranks, the USHL, American League, but you did spend time in the early days of Pittsburgh, and certainly when they had a lot of good players coming through the ranks. My favorite stories that you have is when you talk about Kovalev and Jagr. Like,
yep.
I just think when you work with such special players like that's, as a coach, that's when you really learn from the players, when you're working with elites like that. So I just want you to give the viewers and the listeners just a little bit of insight of working with the Jagrs and the Kovalevs of the world. Because I mean, every time you talked about Kovalev, especially as a youngster, I was like, wow, this guy, like, fuck, just the feathered and lethal flow, the white skates, the Warrior commercials,
tongues out
with tongues out, walking
tongues out,
babes in bikinis, like
fucking
this guy was flies planes, like he was all time.
He was, but he was an all-time human too. The one thing about great players is a lot of them are really special people, and they kind of go hand in hand. He was just, obviously from another country in Russia, but just a really one-on-one, just a terrific person. And what I mean by that is, as a coach at that level, obviously my playing days didn't equal being there as a player. So I was just a guy working hard to get up through the ranks and fortunate to coach at that level. But he had time for me. Like, he had time for me as a person, time for my conversations, time about skill development. To your point, that's where I learned the most about the game offensively, was the Jagrs and the Kovalevs of the world, the Marty Strakas, the Langs of the world, all these guys, German Titov. Like, we had a lot of great players. So you learn a lot about the game from those players through their eyes and through their lens. But those guys are special because they're special human beings. Kovalev, different than Jagr. Kovalev was basically, like, I've always equated him to a Hartman Globetrotter on skates. Do whatever he wanted, make a pass however he wanted. If he wanted to just pass blind between his legs and hit the puck off the heel of his stick on the power play, he'd do it because he felt like doing it, and he could do it. No one expected that pass to come that way. So he was just a really special talent, where Jaromir was the whole package. Like, Jaromir was the hands, Jaromir was the size, Jaromir was the puck protection. Jaromir was a version of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Wow. You would do a clear out. You'd literally do a clear out. He liked to play with Martin Straka, and then somebody else, Kip Miller. We went and got in Pittsburgh to be on the line because I knew Kip could get him the puck. He's a Hobie Baker winner. I'm like, this guy will get him the puck all day long. And Jaromir is exceptional. Like, he played the off wing, so he played the right wing, but he only wanted the puck from the left wing. He didn't want it from the center. He's like, I don't want it from the center. Then the D are already on me. What the hell do I want it then for? I want a cross ice pass. So we got Kip Miller there, but Jaromir was like Bird and Magic Johnson. He would just clear out. He'd like, get away from me. Do not bring anybody near me. I'll abuse this guy one-on-one, and I'll spin off him with my size and my feel for the game. I'll make a play and I'll present, and I want it right back, and we'll score. And so he was just one of those type of guys where sometimes he wanted some traffic and a stick pick or somebody to kind of help him, but for the most part, he just didn't want. He wanted some space, and he wanted to be able to function in that area. So I liken him in that way in terms of the NBA. That's old school, but that's just what he was. He was a complete player and a good man.
He's like, just get away from me, boys. Give me the puck and get out of my way. All right, I'll make shit happen out here. Wardo, speaking of the Pens, I love Robbie Lang is an absolute beauty. I got to know him. He lives out here in La Jolla. Maybe he has the best Czech accent I've ever heard. He just makes me laugh every time he says something. He's such a beauty. He's still got the long hair, too. It looks good, Wardo. His hair is perfect. Oh, it's perfect. But Wardo, talk about the old igloo, man. I got to play it my first couple years in the league. I love that old barn. Obviously, back in the day, Mario doing his thing in there. The teams you had, that building had some character.
Really good character. Great rank. I mean, obviously, it's not Chicago Stadium, but you put it in that rank of that tier of the NHL and what it meant and what it was like, because it had different layers, which was odd. You know, everything today is bowl oriented. It had an overhang here and then an underhang here, and then you had the bowl down here. It was just a great venue, great acoustics in there. Man, the acoustics were great. Like when we were good, obviously those 2 years of the 3 we were there, like it was just always rocking, sold out, just great acoustics, great fan base, just passionate people about their game. And certainly we had some good players to showcase in the league, but just a great venue. Used to pull up in one of these old parking lots. It was just old school. It was just like, hey, Ward will go on in through, and we had our own little area, obviously, but the fans and the closeness of the fans to us and in the whole bowl and the stadium, it was second to none. It was a really unique place to play.
Yeah, and a very fashion-forward organization in terms of the managers, the coaching staff there, Wardo. I mean, Pittsburgh, especially with William Scotty Bowman, we're watching film before anyone. You, Kevin Constantine. So it was a very fashion-forward group of individuals that, just could think kind of higher level, I think, and that's why you guys had success.
Wardo, I'm going to take a little trip down memory lane with you, fella, just because it was, like I said, you brought the passion back for me. So, Swishy, the first time I ever, met Troy G. Ward was at training camp, obviously, and the training camp was just borderline psychotic. So you didn't have much time to really talk to anybody or anything. It was just like, this is outrageous. So, sure enough, I had to go to Regina and Saskatoon for the exhibition games. And who's run the back end, Swishy? Troy G. Ward. And Wardo, I don't know if you remember that, but buddy, I think we went in there and won both games. You played the piss out of me. We had a great time just hanging out. And then I kind of shook you at the end of camp and said, good luck down there. But do you remember those two games? Because that was the highlight of my year in Cowtown, fella. Those two exhibition games in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, it was a good time. I was like just really thankful to be a part of it, because you never know in training camp. You don't know what the head coach is going to give you from the NHL or if you're even getting on the bench. He's got to take care of his assistants. I appreciate any time I got there with you in those games. And certainly just a great experience and a lot of fun. And it was a long year that year in a lot of ways for the Flames. But, but we got off to a good start.
Yeah, we get off to a good start. I was like, and then Swishy, the last exhibition game, I played like 4 minutes. I'm like, fuck, where's Wardo? I'm like, is Wardo back here? I had the little Frenchman. I'm like, let's bring Wardo back. He was playing me, Swishy. Last exhibition game, I played 4 minutes, bud. 10th year in the league.
Oh my God.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called
4 minutes.
Called my agent. I said, I think there's reason for concern. He's like, why is that? I'm like, I just played 4 minutes in an exhibition game.
Yeah, that's literally when you untie your skates in the middle of the third and you ask your trainers, fella, get me a cigarette. I need a dart right now.
Fuck,
give me a smoke. I puff one quick.
I take the chin strap off just to let them know that don't even think about putting me out there, all right? The legs are seized up, the back is tight, but Wardo, then, obviously I got put on waivers and down I went, buddy, and that's where I really got to enjoy some time with you. And the thing that, listen, this probably doesn't surprise anyone listening, I never loved watching film. I didn't like it. I just didn't enjoy it. I would watch it at times if, the PK stuff and what they're doing on the forecheck. Yeah, I want to know all that. The pre-scout, yeah. But my own game, I just didn't love it. You made the film work fun, buddy. Like, I look forward to, like, coming in and hanging out with you, and I'm like, Wardo, you want to watch some clips today? Like, I can't, not today. I got the prospects, but I'm like, but tomorrow come in here and watch your clips. So you had a way of making film fun, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah. It's just, man, it's a great tool. You just got to use it at the right times, the right places. It's a relationship. It's between two people. It's not a dictatorship. You sit down, you try and look at the nuances. And you remember, I think I had 2 rules. I don't remember if you were there then and you got them, but I always had 2 rules. 1, you have to have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Play here, and 2, you got to just be open-minded to some change. Might ask you to look at things a little bit differently, and that's really hence what video is. Just be open-minded, say, because I might be wrong in the end, and I'll admit you're right. That happened all the time in my development as a coach. So it's just a relationship, and you enjoy trying to get to people and make them understand what it is. In terms of right now, it's really gotten fun because it's all situational awareness and spatial awareness. I can't change your mitts, buddy. Your mitts are your mitts.
Yeah.
But I can change your vision.
Yeah.
I can help you with your vision, and I can help you with your body posture, where you absorb hits, where you use your body to extend plays. So it's really a tool that is necessary in my background, but you got to do it the right way, and you have the right people. So you made it fun just as much as I hopefully made it fun for you.
And then Swishy, we always talk about this. Troy G. Ward was probably the first coach that ever said to me, "Obes, you got to be able to play the game on your forehand and backhand." And I was like, finally someone admits it. Like, I never understood why, like, you wouldn't work on your backhand. It's like, stay off your backhand. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should stay off my backhand late in the game here and keep it going up, get it out. But the fact that we're playing in the National League and we're not working on our backhand, it's like, Wardo, when you said that to me, I'm like, buddy, exactly. Like, that's why they put a backhand on your stick. Eventually, you're going to have to use it.
Yeah, you got to use it, especially as a D in breakouts.
Yeah.
You got to use both. Like, you got to be able to make that little slip play inside around the dot, or to a routing center on a not. We always talked about, we always wanted nonstop flights. If I'm a center, I want a nonstop flight. I don't really come in here to hang out, stop, and wait for Obi to turn around and give it on me in my forehand.
Yeah.
I really want a nonstop flight. If my route is good, my timing is route, I'm going to catch it and we're gone. And I can't stop. I have no time to sit in here.
Yeah.
You got to use both sides.
You got to be able to swing the bat on both sides of the dish. And Wardo used to call, like, you'd be looking at guys, like, when we were doing those private lessons, skate in the morning, and you'd be looking at me like, Jordan, like, look at this guy. Like, he's look at this. I'm like, what? He's like, fuck. This guy's got a set of dick beaters. Like, he's got no hands. He's got dick beaters. Like, fucking A, kid. Like, you know what I mean? He's not going to play. But, Wardo, the one thing I think you still bring to the recruiting aspect, and especially when you're evaluating players, which is one of your best strengths, and it still resonates to this day, is you got to have a heavy bottom hand.
Yeah.
When you're playing the game of ice hockey, is that still something, one of the first things you're looking at evaluating players, you're like, ooh, that guy's got to work on his bottom hand, or he's got a really good bottom hand?
Yeah. If you want to be a puck possession guy, a puck possession team, you need it. Unfortunately, as time has evolved in the game, you do realize that there are just guys that will never have a real heavy bottom hand. And so as the game has evolved, as coaches evolved, as teachers, now the follow is really through your hips. You really got to be really dynamic with your hips. The use of cutting off a man's hands, your checking, your angling is more important now than it ever has been in the game. So the bottom hand thing is still a big part of, for me, a puck possession game. But now they're just players that just are not going to be there. So then you really got to use the strike, whether that's how heavy that is. You're not really going to determine, probably it's not heavy enough. So then you got to really use your hips and follow through that way and do some separation there. So it is still a big part of it. You look at those games last night. I always tell fans, like, or people I get to meet, go try and watch a game at ice level. If you really want to see, like, the game and it's really physicality, go sit, like, behind an NBA basket on courtside.
Oh yeah.
And look at the brutality and the physical and the hips and the legs and the forearms and how they shake guys and how they move through picks. It's the same in the National Hockey League. You get down to glass level, man, you really appreciate what these guys do on a nightly basis. Like, it's really what makes the game so great.
It's too fast now. They got to slow down out there. They're just going too fast. I mean, like, slow
it's
down,
the Autobahn.
boys.
It's like, holy Christ. Like, it's, there's no speed limit anymore, but you still find the guys, though, that are really freaking good because they know how to get on a side street and go 35.
Yeah.
We overappreciate speed, but then in the end, we always come back to the Kucherovs. Like, we always really marvel at what they do.
Totally.
But, they're going like, oh, it's a school zone. It's 10 miles an hour. I'm in no hurry. You got the heartbeat of a snail.
60-minute game. We got all
good.
night here. 60-minute game.
I got take my time. Like, it ain't going to work. And then they got a little bit of the Gretzky in them, or they're like, nah, first period, not much happens. Okay, I still got time for 4. Second period, I picked up a point. but I didn't waste my energy in the second period. But the third, man, I didn't overextend my shifts. Like now I'm really ready to go. Everybody else has been on the Autobahn. They're sucking wind and I feel great. And away they go and they just find their way through the game. And it's such a poetry motion of ability to see, facilitate, and then get to space. And then game over.
Yeah.
Game over. Like it's just you give them that space and they find it, and it's really a unique thing to watch. It's really fun to watch, I would say.
Hey, Swishy, by the way, Troy G's message, we still remember all the sayings, right? So it's obviously connecting, right? Like, I don't remember a whole lot from my playing career. I gotta be honest with you, most of it was a blur, but I remember the Troy G Ward little, strong bottom hand, toe caps, all that. So your message was getting received, Wardle.
Yeah, we're trying to chip away and make everybody better. You just want to always make people better than you were, and leave the place in a better spot than when you got there, and that's what you're trying to do. So,
yeah, and just being on just like cerebral players like that, like I feel like the average fan just, I mean, the Kucherov, I mean, if you watch him, you can get a sense of how good he is. But like sitting ice level, I did it 2 weeks ago watching Mark Rosetta Stone, and like just the way that guy places pucks into areas for his wingers or defensemen to skate in on pucks toward. Like, it's insane how that guy's computer works and how smart he is. Like, he's one of my favorite players in the league to watch. Just the way he can put pucks into areas for guys to skate in on it, like, he would be so much fun to play with.
Oh, in their dimes, like he just lays them like right there. The routing and the timing of that route for that receiving guy. Obviously, his brain functions well. But you learn when you play with a guy like that how to change your routing and then where and when to buy time and where and when to use your edges. Because, that's the one thing that's still missing in the game with a lot of the young players still coming up. They have to learn when they got inside edges and when they got outside edges and where they got to buy their time. So it changes the route that they might take based on the defensive posture. And then they hit there and the guy leaves it in a position where it's right off their tape, like right now, like gone. And so those guys, when you see them at this level and you have an appreciation, obviously you're a first round pick yourself and really deserved everything you got in the game. You understand that, but to be a fan and to see that down at ice level, it does eventually click in. Like, boy, that guy, I don't know if he went over 20 miles an hour the whole game. Like, he just has a real good feel for
Matty Tkachuk.
Yeah, like
Matty just slows her down and he just makes plays, and it's just like he's so much smarter than ever. That's why I love watching Chucky play. One of the many reasons, Wardle.
Yeah, one of the many for sure. There's more than one there, but just those guys are just at another level down at that level when you get to ice level, and you guys have been on the ice with these guys, and you feel it and see it in practice, and we have an appreciation for it. So we're also in a really good spot compared to most when you see the game.
Fellas, I got to tell you about our new friends over at Rag & Bone, especially the Rag & Bone Miramar line. I threw on these thinking I was putting on jeans, then realized they felt like sweat. No joke, boys. They look like premium denim on the outside, and they're insanely soft and comfortable on the inside. Total game changer. You know how regular jeans can feel stiff and uncomfortable after a few hours? Not these babies. The Miramar line moves with you all day. I wore mine out to dinner and running around town and never once wanted to change. They've got the real jean look too. Pockets, button closures, zip fly, everything. Nobody knows you're basically wearing luxury loungewear. Rag & Bone has been mastering denim for years, and with Miramar, they completely changed the game. You get the polished look of jeans with the comfort of sweats. It's time to upgrade your denim with Rag & Bone. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order with code CURFEW at rag-bone.com. That's 20% off at rag-bone.com with promo code CURFEW. And fellas, when they ask where you heard about them, tell them the Missin Curfew boys sent you. Swishy, I gotta go by. I gotta take a trip down memory lane again with Wardo and Abby. All right, so we're in the playoffs against. We're playing Grand Rapids, and we start at home, and fucking shit's going sideways in game one. Hey, like we're up against it. They're buzzing, and Wardo comes in between periods and sits on the floor in the dressing room with his back like that. He's like, with his feet up. He's like, boys, we all just got to chill. Let's all just breathe here for a second. Let's just breathe here and chill. And I'm looking at Derek Smith going, A, this is exactly what we needed, and B, this guy is the all-time beauty. Just took a seat right on the floor, being, boys, you got to chill. So, Ward, that was one of my favorite Troy G. Ward moments forever. But by the way, that's what we needed. Like, everyone just take a breather here.
Yeah, take a breather and sit down, and we made it a lot bigger than it was. And Blasio was the coach on the other bench. Jeff was, who's now in Chicago, and the goaltender there, he's in the National League now still. I forget his name, but it was a great series. A great, just good players grinding it out hard. Yeah, it's just the bad part about the whole part of Abbey was the fact that, it was planes, trains, and automobiles to get anywhere. I mean, it's a 4-hour flight to Chicago, then it's another hour flight to Detroit if you wanted to do that, or hop on a bus all the way to GR and then get in there and play. And it was just, everything was tough out of there, but you learned to really, we traveled well. We appreciated what we did, but it made it tough in those series.
Yeah, you're taking the bone rattler through Gary, Indiana, and you're stopping at the Travel Plaza in Benton Harbor, just on the other side of the lake there, trying to get to Grand Rapids, pack of smokes and a Snickers, get there, play the game. It's like,
I thought Abbey was hard, but before that, I landed in Victoria in the East Coast Hockey League. Yes. And I got in there on a Tuesday, flew in all Monday, landed, got into the hotel, ran practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday got on, I'm like, where do we play this weekend? They're like, 3 hours outside of LA in Bakersfield. I'm like, what? And I go, how are we getting there? Oh, we're leaving at 4 a.m. What? I'm like, and then what time do we get there? 11 p.m. Oh, and then we play the next day? Yeah. I'm like, well, how are we getting there? They're like, well, this short bus is going to pick us up at 4 at the rink, Save On Food Center, Vic. We're going to take a ferry, go to the ferry. We're going to ride the ferry for 2 hours to Tawasin. Then we're going to get on a bus in Tawasin. Then we're going to bus all the way to Seattle. Then we're going to go through the airport and be there for 2.5 hours, get on a plane and fly to LA. Then we're going to get back on a bus and go to Bakersfield.
Oh my God.
Nice day. Nice day.
How the legs feeling, boys? Hey, how the legs feeling? You guys you got some jump in you, boys? Let's go.
Oh, we won our first game. I wanted to just tell the guys, hey, thanks for winning our first game when I'm your coach. You might as well tie one on. Let's forget about Saturday night. We'll go down to San Diego and see if we can get one there too.
Yeah. We're playing with house money. Good job. Enjoy yourself tonight. Way to battle through the elements there. Hey, Swishy, another reason when I knew Troy G was absolute beauty? So we're in Abbotsford and we're talking about planes, trains, and automobiles, right? And I'm first trip, I'm flying the back of the bird. I'm like, I can't do this. So I had a girl that helped me out with my flight. So I would get the flight from the team, forward it to her, and I'd bump me up first class. So Wardle walked by me in first class one day and kind of looked at me, and I'm like, I should go talk to him when we land. And I'm like, hey, Wardle, man, I'm not trying to be that guy. He's like, hey, I get it. It's a long flight. Do what you got to do. Whatever makes your body feel better, just do what you got to do. And I just thought that was cool because, Swish, a lot of coaches down there would be like, look at this cocky fuck. He thinks he's, and Wardle was like, I get it, my man. You got to, stretch out a bit. Take care of your body.
Stretch the body, stretch the career. Yeah, get a Bloody Mary too while you're at it. Sit there in 2B. Yeah, my treat. Yeah, whatever you need. Whatever you need, eh?
I was doing a lot of sleeping up there.
Well, not all the time, because if I can share if I go down memory lane, we had to play Utica that year, which is Vancouver's farm team, but we're in Vancouver's backyard where they are now, right in Abbey, right? Yeah. And we got to fly to Utica, but I'm like, the boys, they've been working we're gonna go to Lake Placid for 3 days. Yeah. Well, we're gonna fly in there on a Monday, get up there on a Tuesday, practice at Lake Placid for a couple of days. Let the boys run. We'll go down, and Travis Green was the coach in Utica there, and I'm like, we'll just go down there and pound the piss out and go back home with 4. We'll get a couple of wins and get out of there. So we get to Lake Placid, and I'm like, okay, boys, it's your night. And him and Smitty are like, okay, Wardle, thanks much. We'll take good care of the boys. And I'm like, okay. Well, the next day I'm getting up. I always get up really early, and I'm going down the lobby in the hotel, and look down the end of the hall, and I'm like, there's Old and Smitty. Hey, Wardle, how we doing? I'm like, great. How's the night? Good. Just bringing her home right now. We'll see you at the rink. 6 a.m. I'm like, we're going to be at the rink in 4 hours. And then they come in. They're like, Wardle, how are we doing today? I'm like, good. How are you doing? Just go easy on us today. It's the first day back.
Ease us into it, Wardle. Ease us into it.
one of those practices you got to put the icy hots on the nuts just to get going, just to feel something.
God.
Still drunk.
I don't even know if to run practice. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, oh, the boys did a good one.
Yeah.
Wardo, I got to ask you, we can't talk Abby without talking about my boy, the Gills trade, Trevor Gillies. First of all, I remember you pulled me in. You're like, hey, you played this Trevor Gillies, eh? Like, what do you think? What do you think of him? And then, correct me if I'm wrong, when you asked him if he was in shape, didn't he just take a picture with his tarp off and send it to you?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he just sent me a picture with his shirt off. He seems to be in pretty good shape. I'm like, oh, he'll be in shape, all right.
The train.
The train had one of the best of all time, and I've been around a long time. Like, we're playing at home, and he's like, I'll get these guys off their game. I'm like, this is like the day before. I'm like, oh, okay, train, we'll see. Oh, I'll give you your 12, 13 minutes or whatever. I'll get you out there. And he's like, all right, perfect. And we're getting ready for the national anthem, and like, he's in one. Like, he is literally tearing this guy a new back. Like, he is just ripping him, calling him every name. Like, I'm gonna come after you. I'm gonna killing you. And it was like Slapshot when they're on the line for the national anthem and Slapshot. It was like the whole bench was like, is this guy for real? Like, the whole rink was quiet. And he was just ripping this guy. Like, I'm gonna tear you apart. If you come out there, I'll break. God damn. I'm coming. I'm not stopping until I take you apart, limb by limb. And I was like, holy, I've never seen anything like it. It was the national anthem. Yeah.
Like, it's
the problem was, Swishy, he couldn't find a fight. No one wanted to fight him. So now he's got all this built up anger, and all he wants to do is chuck it for Wardo and the boys. And every day he's like, fuck. I'm like, Gills, just play physical, get on the forecheck. No one's going to fight you, goddamn maniac. Look at you. I wouldn't fight you. And I'm 33 years old. These kids aren't fighting you. So just, run around.
Did he come into a PTO, or was he signed you guys?
No, Troy G signed him.
We signed him. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Just a criminal on skates.
What a great teammate, though, eh, Wardo? What a great teammate.
Oh, the best. Still communicate with him.
Yeah.
Monthly. He is the best. He is one of the best humans I've ever been across in my life. Just a world-class person, a world-class teammate, a world-class father. He's a good man.
That one video for like maybe 2 summers, we would get back from the bar and all the boys would be at the after party. It'd be like when everyone was filing out. We would throw that warm-up video, the montage of Trevor Gillies is on, and just boost to it, just dying laughing. He's like, you always got to get a pregame lather on, right? And he's like warming up his right in the locker room. He's shadow boxing on the glass. Like, that video is all time for people who haven't seen it. Just type in Trevor Gillies on YouTube. And like the bomber warm-up jacket he had on too.
Baseball
like,
sweat jacket.
He's walking in like he's a prize fighter ready to throw a circle change up.
Dude, his pregame warm-up, I'm like, especially in Abbey too, I was like, just give me a heat pack and a coffee. I go in and see Gunman. I'm like, Gunman, give me a couple, get my boots going here. And Gills is just in there with his, listening to whatever, disturbed, and he's just fucking, I'm like, Gills, these kids are looking at him more like they had never seen anything like it.
Never left. There's nothing like it. And it was just such a scary thing, but also a very comforting thing to be on his team. So it was good.
He's one of my favorites.
He's a good man.
And speaking about good man, the gunman, what a great guy he was. I mean, he just made going in the gym a fun time. I know you loved him too, right?
Yeah, Tommy Gunn, just one of the best strength coaches, I think, in that time. Talk about adaptability. You talked about humility. You talk about love. The words that you would want to always associate with good people, like the best. I remember we interviewed him. I just taken over the job in Abbey, and we had to hire a strength coach, and he applied, and me and John Weisbrod interviewed him in my office in Abbey at the rink. And you talk about humility. The very first thing he sits down in the interview, he says, well, I want to get one thing straight. We're like, okay. He goes, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I want that on the table. And you were like, hired.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was basically it. It was like hired. And then to go with all the, when you're a strength guy, you have to make people want to do things they don't want to do.
Total, exactly.
Like that.
Well said.
you don't always have to be great in the weight room. You just have to do enough consistently to put yourself in a good enough position for protection and a little bit of backing. But really just protection, keep your body right at that point in time. And he was money. He had enough personality in him and enough laughter to be able to make guys do what they didn't want to do. He was great.
Yeah, and Swishy. So I had Troy G. Ward as my head coach. I had the gunman as my I'm like, this is unbelievable. I was 45 minutes from Van City. If I wanted to slide in there for a night off, I'm like, this is all right. And then on top of that, I wasn't paying escrow, Swishy. So I'm like, you know what? It could have got a lot worse for me. I got a kind of a lucky bounce to go down and have that situation, Swish.
For two to hook, I'll play anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here. Why not?
Well, and you know as well as anyone. I mean, listen, and Wardo, you know that the American Hockey League, I don't think it gets enough credit for how good it is, but it's a grind and it can get miserable. And if you're not surrounded with people like Wardo and Gunman, I mean, I used to tell the young kids, I'm like, you boys are so lucky. And I was lucky early too. I had Brad Shaw and Dan Balsma, two great guys that were my coaches. But I used to tell them, you guys are lucky to have good people around you because you can get caught down this league in a bad town with bad coaches, and it can get a long season, Wardo.
It can get really long quick, and especially. And I mean, no disrespect to Abby, but when you live there and your nearest team is a 4-hour plane ride, like, come on, like we were on the road for 3 weeks. Like,
it's not perfect, is it?
It's tough. And you know, if you're not having fun and you don't get a chance to be a man and go out and enjoy your teammates and a couple of pops, like, yeah. Especially when you take it on the chin. You got to take it on the chin. You still got to go clean out the carbs. You got to have a few pops. It's just life. Like, it is what it is. And the only way to get better is to enjoy the process.
Yeah, it's day 17 and you're at Bakersfield and you check it out, the Deja Vu Strip Club, and realize that the seafood tower is not coming out for a few hours. You got to kill some time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Find a local establishment here, boys. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? But, Wardo, I want to know one thing that resonates with me, and we obviously you have a million one-liners, a lot that I keep in my bag. But one that I think that resonated with me, especially up through my career. And I think we have a lot of parents that listen to the show, a lot of nutty hockey families, and just even in the demographic of just people still involved in hockey. And I think like the biggest thing that you always told me is you got to do one thing in hockey to really separate yourself. So if you're a scorer, like you got to be the best scorer, because if that's what's going to get you to the league, that's going to ultimately, put money into your pocket. If you're a tough guy, you got to be able to fight or hit. Or if you're an elite passer, well, you got to do that on a consistent basis every game, every shift. You got to be an elite puck mover. Like, you have to do one thing that really sticks out. You can't just be okay at everything. Like, that road to the NHL, that gets tough. And you always say you either got to be a rusher or a crusher, or you turn into an usher real quick watching the fucking game. So, just elaborate a little bit more on that and what that exactly means. But that was always the best line. You're like, Jesus, George, you're playing like a fucking usher right now. Playful fella.
Yeah, you got to have some separating skill, and you got to be consistent at it. I don't really honestly believe it's not only hockey. I think it's anything, right? It's you got to have a separating skill, and then you got to bring it every day, and you got to bring it consistently. You got to know how to bring it. You got to adapt over time and grow your game and grow your business. But, you do have that. And there's a lot of people that in the game that are pretty good in a lot of areas. Well, pretty good is only going to take you so far. And then the game will tell you you're just not going to play anymore. And that's just the reality for a lot of players. It's the way it goes. But if you can get one separating skill and, and you can apply it every day, then you've got something special. And I think that's kind of like, even in today's game, I don't think it's changed a lot. Like Minnesota State right now, where I coached this past year, we had some guys that had separating skills and they brought it every day. And that made us more of a better team than to have a whole bunch of just guys that were just good in a lot of areas. We had those type of players and they played a role on our team, but the guys that changed the factor in our team and how we did things and how far we went all had separating skills, and they bring it every day. And it might be just the human side. You might be a good enough player but the separating part is if I dress, I make a difference. And whatever it is, you got to find it and you got to put it in.
Wardo, I wanted to ask you my last question for you. I want to talk Minnesota State. I want to talk Mankato. Solid season for you boys. Made the NCAAs. Lost in the first round to Western Michigan, I believe. But the staff there, touch on the staff. As far as I'm concerned, one of the best staffs in college hockey, severely underrated. Obviously, with you, Keith Paulson, Uncle Paulie, who I play with in Sioux City, or play for, I should say. Luke Strand, my first ever junior coach. Shout out to Strander. He's a beauty, good chin, throws both ways. And then McCracken from Green Bay.
Yeah.
So a lot of Wisconsin ties in the staff, a lot of smart hockey minds. But just touch on the year at Minnesota State. I thought it was fairly solid for you guys, and just looking ahead, for the next year and the transfer portal, all that bullshit you got to deal with moving forward into the offseason.
Yeah, thanks. Great staff, great people. Start with Luke. Obviously, Luke was my assistant in 2 different times in life, and then worked for my company for many, many years. So we've been together. It's nice to be on the other side of the coin, giving back to him, because he gave a lot to me as a head coach. So I've really enjoyed that. He's a great young coach. He's really found his niche, as you know, through the juniors and USHL, where he spent most of his development time. Had a brief stop in Ohio State and Wisconsin in the Division I, and then got the head job at Minnesota State. Has just done an outstanding job. He's a player's coach for that level. He's good in the social media. He's good in the fundraising. He's good in the friend raising. He just does a really, really, really good job. So we're fortunate to have him as the leader. Keith Paulson, came out of Iowa, where he was the video coach for the Minnesota Wild Farm team. And he does a great job, handles a lot of our pre-scout and things like that, but a good human, good hockey mind, and just kind of younger in his path yet still at this level. And then Corey McCracken's been a long time just a high school coach in the state of Wisconsin, but probably in all my time in the game, one of the smarter guys I've ever been around, especially if you look at him from the standpoint saying he hasn't been at other levels. He just ran Team Wisconsin, got a great feel for the game, great understanding. He's really good with the recruiting process, and he finds talent. He understands how to see it, how to project it. So just a good group of people. We're very fortunate. We had a good year. But we're just like we were, we watched the NHL. We tried to peak at the right time. That's really what good coaching staffs do, is you got to kind of build your year and know when to push and when to pull back and when to push again. And we were good out of the gates, and then we kind of hit a lull through most of December, early January, kind of stubbed our toe a little bit. We were out by Obes there in LA. We were up, in that area and played a tournament. We weren't very good. We were just okay at best, and then we came home, stumbled ourselves again, and then we won down the stretch, and we played really, really well, like a really good 400-foot game. Like we competed up and down the rink, and we took time and space away. Our checking game really improved and got to the NCAAs. But again, 2 years in a row, we lost to Western Michigan. This one 3-1 with an open net. The other one was in double overtime. They were a better team on that particular day. Got to give them credit. And we were good, but just not good enough. So another good year by our group. And we did it, to your point on the portal, Schmolsky, we did it with 17 new players. Yeah. I mean, you think about that. Yeah. You think about 17 new players from the year before when we got to the NCAAs to this year, and we found a way back. So kudos on our players and their effort and their buy-in to what we sold them in terms of how we wanted to play, and it came together at the right time.
Yeah.
Wardle, you said right there on that particular day, obviously Swish has brought a college hockey flair to Missin Curfew. I want playoff hockey, Wardle, in college. I get it for hoops, right? Hoops, you get the March Madness, the revenue it generates. I get all that. I don't see it the same in hockey. And I guess my question to you is would you want to see some playoff hockey in college, or is it just always going to be, the regionals and the tournament and this and that? From a casual college fan, I think if you got some hatred and some series, it might be good for the game.
I think it'd be great for the game.
Yeah.
I think it'd be tremendous. And I think it's coming, but I don't think it's really in the near future. But because things still got to align themselves in college hockey, and the whole NLI and the portal have got to continue to sort itself out, because we've changed now. The portal window this year is open 15 days. That's it. It closes next Monday. So things are still figuring their way out there, but I eventually see, college hockey being a little bit different. To your point, on that particular day, they're a better team. If you put them in, if you play the best of 5, I bet you we have a good chance of playing game 5 against that team.
Exactly.
We weren't quite what they were in some stick skill areas, but our system play and our goaltending and our overall game was good. But on that particular day, they were the better team, just like they were the year before. They found a way. So I got to give them credit, but I do like our chances more in a series. And I think the way the game has gone, I mean, we could have been here 3 years ago. We wouldn't have talked the CHL and college hockey. We wouldn't have talked the NLI. So I think it's going to change eventually, but it'll be down the road a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Obes, 2009, J Swish shows up to Sioux City, Iowa, 16 years old. My coach, who we just talked about, who he's coaching with now, Luke Strand, the assistant Keith Paulson. So I'll try to make this as quick as I can, but it's just a Luke Strand story. And just, he's a nail gun, Obes. Like he's a tough customer. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, played a little bit in the minors as a fighter, came up through G3, and that's how kind of Troy G knew him, is dating back to their Eau Claire days. He was a little bit younger, but mind you, kind of the same upbringing, if you will, in hockey. So I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior. I'm going to Bishop Heelan. I'm going to a private school because the year before they had gotten in a fight with, a bunch of these football players at the public schools. So like, hey guys, you got to go to this private school. I'm like, fucking private school. You kidding me? I'm just, I don't oblige by rules as is. So we're going to this concert one night. We got an off night. It's a Nelly concert. I end up meeting Nelly and the St. Lunatics in the locker room. I present Nelly with a Sioux City Musketeers jersey with 3 in the back. He's got the Band-Aid on. He goes on stage. I'm 16 years old. And I'm the youngest guy on the team, but I'm buying beers because I got the fake ID. And the fake ID was this kid out of California named Noble Tucker. So I'm going up and down from the front row where we got mint seats down and back to the concession buying beers for all the boys. And it's at our arena at the Tyson Event Center. So we have a night. We have an after party at the Hilton Garden Inn, the old stabbing cabin on the other side of the river. And that's where the St. Lunatics are staying. So we actually end up partying with the St. Lunatics, like Murphy Lee, all these guys. Nelly was just, big time at that point. So he was just staying in his bus. So we have a great night. I ended up missing school the next day. And then the following day, the game film of the Tyson Event Center comes out. And Luke Strand calls me in his office. He goes, Jordan, have a good time at that concert last time? I'm like, yeah, it was great. All the boys were there. He's like, that's good. Did you, were you drinking there? I'm like, no, I wasn't drinking. It's like, you sure? Rolls the tape. He's got me going up and down the section to go get beers to the liquor stand and back. He's like, first of all, I got to ask, why are you the one buying beers as the youngest guy on the team?
Team guy.
And he's like,
yep, totally.
And he's like, secondly, like, why the fuck isn't anyone helping you carry these beers? Like, you're double fisting them. So he ends up bag skating us the next day like I've never been bag skated before. We did a bag skate in the morning. We kept our gear on, Obes. We ran stairs for another 3 hours.
Oh.
He gave us like 20 minutes for a lunch break, and we came back, and he bagged us again. And the practice in the morning to the end. Oh, yeah, because we got in trouble. Like, the building was like, Jesus, like, you're buying beers for all these minors. The practice in the afternoon was the same practice as the one in the morning, just with pucks. It was the biggest bagger of a day. And man, I think he loved it, but he had to set a precedent at the time because we could have gotten deep shit. But yeah, he was just like, why are you the one buying beers? We got Tommy Olchuk. He's 21 years old. Like, he's like, well, that's how I roll, baby. That's Broad, Wisconsin.
The veteran guy should have stepped in there for you and bought the beers at least. But yeah, now that I know you, you're the ultimate team guy. But Wardle, I could do this all day with you, fella. You're an absolute beauty and one of my favorites. I want to ask you about your hockey school. I know it means a lot to you, and people from this interview are going to learn right away that you're a good teacher. Of all your feathers in your cap, you're an absolute beauty. That's first and foremost. But you're a hell of a teacher. So just let our listeners know what your hockey school is all about and maybe where they can find it, Wardle.
Oh, well, thank you. Didn't anticipate that. So my business this will be my 29th year running my camp. Started when I was an assistant in Pittsburgh in the NHL. It's called Hockey and Sons. It's a parent-child camp. I also have hockey and daughters. So I do 4 Hockey and Sons camps a summer at a university called Gustavus Adolphus, which is right 15 minutes from Mankato in a town called St. Peter, Minnesota. It's like going to a Ritz hotel. Like, it's a small campus. Every dad and son has their own stall with their name tag. You come in on a Wednesday about noon and you go home Sunday at noon. And so we've been doing it for 29 years. Obviously, it's a really unique business in the fact that our target audience is a parent-child. We started out with I think my first staff ever, you guys will love this. My first staff ever was Eddie Olchuk, Darren Pang,
Nice.
Brad Hennigan, myself, JP Parisi, Mike Eves, Kevin Constantine, and Joey Mullen.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Joey Mullen. You talk about an all-star staff. So, and we only had 32 kids in year one and like 26 dads. So a couple of dads brought 2 kids and advertised it for 9 months. That's all we got. And 29 years later, we're at, basically 4 hockey and sons and 2 hockey and daughters. And we'll have over 900 people this summer in the St. Peter, Minnesota. From all over the world. So it's really become a really unique thing, Obes, in terms of a parent-child and just enjoying the game together. You sleep together, you go to dry land together, you go to lecture together because we're teachers, and then you have skills in the morning, tactics in the afternoon. The kids play against the kids every night, and then the dads play against the dads, and then they go back. The dads have a couple of adult beverages and some pizza while the kids play floor hockey, and they shut her down about 2 or 3 every night. But it's unbelievable. It's just a bonding time. Obviously, Swishy was there at one point in time with his brother and his dad. Very fortunate to have it. And, so it was the picture actually behind me is at Shattuck. We originally started at Shattuck, Obes, in 1997, and then we just outgrew Shattuck, so we moved over to Gustavus Adolphus campus.
Some of the best times you'll ever have, not only if you have a brother in the game or a dad, those are like, we still talk about to this day with, even my cousin with my uncle. We'd all go in there, you stay in the dorms, you get to hang out with your dad. And then you get to that point where you're 12, 13 or 14 and the kids end up beating the dads, especially if you have a couple good, young players.
Suck on that, Pops.
Yeah, and they're a little they're a little stung in the morning, you know what I mean, for staying up from drinking a bunch of pops, and all the kids are all goofed up on sugar, and we go there and kick the shit out of our dads. But just like being out there with your dad, and learning different things in the game, doing skill drills, or even just slide in for a Canada Cup where you get to go on a 2-on-1 with your dad or against your dad. Like those times of just hanging out, even off the ice, man, was so much fun. Like I look back at it when, Wardo was talking about, I used to be at Shattuck back in the day. Like it was awesome. And then, you end it with the garage party at Rooster's place. He's a living legend of Faribault, Minnesota. Like I vividly remember those experiences and just hanging out with, the guy that kind of introduced you to the game and having a lot of fun. But at the same time, Wardo, you put together a lot of quality coaches, and you take something away from that. It's like an extended kind of version of the morning skates. We were talking about the private lessons, but it's just the coaches you bring in with the wealth of experience. It's a lot of fun, and for any young dads out there, even older dads, man, like that would be on my bucket list. It's always sold out though. Can you even get a spot these days, Wardo?
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, it's tough. I don't even like talking about it. Like Obes, we sold out 4 boys camps, which is roughly 100 between dads and kids, 170 dads and kids a week. We sold out all 4 of those camps in less than 3 weeks.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into that too.
There is a lot. I mean, my wife, Marilyn, is, bless her heart. I mean, she does all the registering and all that. And the dads have been wonderful. The beauty of it is like, we get from all over. Last summer, we had people from 6 countries, 20 some states across the US. And the one thing that's really beneficial, the whole thing, is the dad nowadays. There's a lot of dads that have never played. Yeah. And it is like exhilarating for them to come and say, oh, I get to go on the ice and do some skills with my kids and then do some tactical work in the afternoon. And I realize now like how hard it is for this young man to do it. And I'm trying to do it. And I've got more patience now for his ability. And I understand what I'm trying to do. I see the game differently. I've actually done it. So it's actually probably more beneficial, honestly, for the dad that never played. I have NHL guys, we're going to have like 4 or 5 NHL guys here this summer, that bring their kids and do the camp all the time. And it's wonderful, but it's been really a unique business for the dads that never got a chance to play as kids.
Yeah, Wardo, that's unbelievable, buddy. Hey, listen, last one for you, bud. I could sit here and talk hockey with you all day. You're beauty. I'm gonna get.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the series yet.
I know. Well, we're gonna have you back on. You might have to be recurring. You're gonna be the coach of Missin Curfew, if that's okay. We'll get your contract in your hand. Listen, speaking of coaching, you coached both of us, me and Swishy. We've been on the ice a couple times together. I think we would have been a real nice D pair, right? Left-handed shot, right-handed shot. You've seen us both play. Would have you put us together, and what kind of D pair do you think we would have been?
Transitional D pair. Would have played. One would have played 5-4. One would have played 4-5. You both would have played 5-6 because you need Jordan's dick beaters to get you out on a little bump play to make if your backhand back there to make the clear. So you'd play 5-6 for sure. But the one thing that you guys would have been is the one thing that was always undercover with you was your feel and your temperature for spatial and plays. Like you had the ability to move it in the middle your whole career. You were told not to at times, i.e. like the wild pass last night. Not so good. I feel bad for that guy. It was a hard hit. But you had a really undercover offensive game and people didn't really realize it. And the thing that sets you apart was you always had early eyes. You had early eyes, so you were able to make a lot of plays. So you can play with a high-end guy, where Jordan is known as the offensive guy and can slip you pucks. But I think you guys would have had a good yin and yang in terms of when to share because Jordan understands, too. The one part about Jordan was always really great. He could bring people to him, and then he knew how to get it to his partner. And I think anytime you're a great D or you look at the series going on right now, the D that are dominating is partner-based. It's not one guy, it's both guys. Yeah. And you guys would have had a good yin and yang. And I think you could have got it back to Jordan when he needed it. And likewise, I think he would have used you. So both of you would have been great together and would have been fun. Not to mention a couple of conversations on the bench would have been highlight reels. Like
it would have been enjoyable.
So would have been enjoyable. But you do balance each other out.
Yeah, I thought we would have been a nice pair, Swishy. Eh? We would have had the puck the whole game, fella. And I always used to say, Swishy, if we have it, they can't score, right? I mean, I'm no fucking rocket scientist, but if we got it, they can't score.
Right. And we don't need to block shots. We got the goalie behind us. We will, but that's what we're paying this guy for back here, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Troy,
it's just intelligence. It's just intelligence. Don't allow one-timers. Yeah. You're going to get a minus that often. Real easy game.
I used to say if you have to block a shot as a D-man, it means you're out of position. That's what I used to say, but some people disagree with that. But if I'm in my right position, I got a good stick. I don't have to block anything. But Wardo, man, you're one of my favorites, buddy. We're going to have you back on for sure. We've been wanting to do this for a long time, man. Thank you for taking the time. Keep being yourself, buddy. You're good for the game, and we're always pulling for you, buddy. Me and Swishy and everybody here at Missin Curfew. So thank you, my man.
Thank you, and likewise, pulling for you guys. You do great for the game right now and what you bring to the game and for all the fans and people that want to grow the game and be better. On behalf of everybody that's a listener, thanks so much for making this fun and making us enjoy this great sport.
All right, brother. Thank you, Wardo. Man. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Swishy Swish. Thanks to our boy, Troy G. Ward. I think it was easy to tell from that interview there. I had to take a trip down memory lane with him, fella. Guy means a lot to me. I know he means a lot to you too, for different reasons, right? In our careers, right? You were a young kid coming up. He kind of helped you turn into the pro you were. And for me, it was kind of near the end of my career when, like I said, I lost the passion for the game and Wardo made it fun for me. But, me and you were talking at commercial break there, like just a smart hockey guy.
Yeah, just an intellectual of the game. I mean, I've known Wardo since I was probably 8 years old, Obes. And, aside from skating with him, at an early age and just him putting things in my head that I wasn't even thinking about, because of the elite players he worked with in the NHL and college at that time. And then to take that into my junior career, into college, into pro, like he was always a guy I always leaned on. Like every summer, Obes, I would come back and I would orchestrate a 1-week pro camp. And I would have like 7 to 10 of the best NHL guys I could get. And we go skate with Wardo and we would rent ice for the week. And then we would just pay Wardo just as like our skills coach. And it was just basically like training camp prep work. And those were always the best skates, even to, seeing pro hockey with Wardo. It was like, how is this guy not in the NHL? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he's just so smart. Just even as an assistant coach, like he would be doing things like 99% of the league in terms of the coaches had no idea how to teach. He's truly just the best coach I've ever worked with in terms of just the little skills of the game. It's and it shows in that interview of just how smart he is with different things, breaking it down.
Yeah, and he's got like a new age mentality of always wanting to learn and the film, and then he has an old school, mentality as well that's just built in him, right? Like he talked about that Lake Placid story. He gave the boys a green light. Me and Smitty took her right to 6 a.m. Lake Placid.
Didn't see that coming.
What were we doing in Lake Placid? God only knows what we were doing, but just a great human being. And we've been wanting to get him on for a while. And it just worked out that the Updog and Richie weren't here, so I thought it was perfect, Swishy. So thank you to you, buddy. Thank you to Troy G. Ward, absolute beauty. Thank you to Hall Pass Media, Kyle, Casey Conway, Max, the Ice Pick Pickup. That was Missin Curfew, fella.